Right now, there's work for Ipswich to do at Ewood Park. Blackburn search for their first win under John Eustace. Can they stand in the way of the Tractor Boys, who are hoping to press on with their push for promotion and go top of the table for the time being? The teams are on their way out of the tunnel, so let's join your top commentary team for this one. Former Sunderland defender Mickey Gray, but first your match commentator Cameron Pope.
Thank you very much, Ollie. 8 games to go for both of these teams. This championship clash will have ramifications at both ends of the table, and results earlier in this Good Friday programme mean there's even more riding on the outcome. The hosts fighting for divisional survival, the visitors in a 3 or even a 4-horse race for the top 2. Let's have a look at the teams then. So Blackburn, the hosts, starting with Ainsley Pears in goal, the back 4 of Harry Pickering, Scott Wharton, their captain Dominic Hyam, and then the man back from injury, Joe Rankin Costello. In front of them in defensive midfield, Callum Britton moves forward. He's alongside Sondra Trunster. And then in attacking midfield, the man of the moment, he got 4 goals in 4 games through February and March, Sam Smodics. In front of him, Tyree Stolen, Ben Cresceni, the Aston Villa loanee, on the left-hand side, and Ryan Hedges on the right. As for Ipswich Town, Václav Hladký is the goalkeeper, a back 4 of Axel Twanzebe, Luke Wolfenden, returning man George Edmondson, and assist king Leif Davis. In front of them, the captain Sammy Morsey alongside Massimo Luongo. Connor Chaplin returns to the action after missing the 6-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday before the international break. We think he'll play in attacking midfield. On the left-hand side, Nathan Broadhead. On the right, Chelsea loanee Amari Hutchinson, and Kiefer Moore is going to be through the middle. Well, I don't think this game needed any more hamming up already, Mickey, but the results we've had earlier on in the day, they've made it all the more interesting.
What a way to start the Easter weekend. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're completely right, Cameron. It's just been fantastic and a great listen to all the boys around the grounds all day today. And we're in for an absolute cracker here, because there's no reason for Blackburn not to try and take the game to Ipswich Town. Ipswich know exactly what they have to do. They pick up maximum points, they go top of the table. And that is where you want to be on that long journey home from Lancashire, absolutely. And we know that Ipswich, when they're on the day, they're as good as anybody in the Championship. I wouldn't say they're the big surprise, but they have surprised a lot of people, certainly along the way, and they deserve to be where they are, and they want to try and get automatic promotion at the end of the season. But Blackburn have to make it difficult for them here this evening.
Well, this is the first of 2 potentially huge games. Well, there's no doubt about it. The one coming up on Easter Monday is massive, and don't forget you can listen to that on the network as well. Ipswich are going to be home to Southampton, a potentially season-defining game. 5:30 Talksport exclusive. Joe Shannon and Dean Ashton. That is on Easter Monday. Southampton's draw earlier on against Middlesbrough means there's 7 points between the 2 teams. Ipswich, though, crucially, have played 1 game more. So this is the league as it stands. Leeds 82 points, played 38. Leicester 82 points after their defeat earlier on, also played 38. Ipswich 81 points. They too have played 38 games. If this isn't crunch time, I don't know what is. We're waiting for the OK from the referee, who is today Stuart Atwell. Mixes his time between the EFL and the Premier League. And with a blast of his whistle, we are underway. Blackburn in blue and white, looking to haul themselves away from the scrap at the bottom. Starting this game in 19th place, 3 points clear of the relegation zone. Ipswich in their orange chain strip know they can go top for a few hours at least with a win. 11 on points with Leeds and Leicester. And remember, stick around after this on Talksport 2 for Watford versus Leeds from Vicarage Road with Jim Proudfoot and Chris Uwellamo. But both sides, I think, Mickey Gray, we've got to block out the noise now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you try to do, Cameron, in the first couple of minutes is just try and settle yourself, settle those little nerves that you have jangling around in the dressing room. When you get out there, it's just about trying to compose yourself as quick as you possibly can. You know, sometimes you're always guessing, aren't you, at systems, and, you know, there's been no change to what I see from Blackburn, but what's interesting is I think Rankin Costello is actually in that midfield area, and they've left Callum Britton as a right back because they've had that clean sheet last time they had a game. Maybe that's John Houston just having a look and think, well, I don't want to change my back 4 if I don't need to. It'll be interesting to see if the 2 fullbacks can get forward and cause problems in the opposite end.
Yeah, his hand's been forced a little bit, John Eustace. He's still looking for a win after 9 games in charge now in all competitions, and he's been robbed of Arne Sigurdsson. Oh, but there's a chance for Blackburn if they can pounce, and Tyree Stolen thought he'd seen a slice of the ball on the edge of the penalty area, but it was wrestled away. And now the orange shirts of Ipswich can come forward. Kiefer Moore in the centre circle goes down under a challenge that would have been harsh to have been penalised, and Callum Britton, who is, as Mickey says, it looks like, filling in that right back role, can bring the ball forward. We have played 90 seconds of this Crunch Championship match at Ewood Park. Ball taken down on halfway by Sondre Tronster. Blackburn midfielder, new lease of life in this side. He was getting his first proper spell in English football, but yeah, John Eustace, he was forced into a corner a little bit by matters on international break. Arne Sigurdsson, his winger, injured in the game against Israel in the semi-finals of the playoffs for Euro 2024. Iceland coming up just short against Ukraine, but he's going to be out now likely for the end of the season. Arne Sigurdsson, and then losing Mickey Sam Gallagher as well. That's two key men up front that are gone. No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you talk about quality that Blackburn have, and unfortunately, you know, they need their best players if they're going to start to pick up points and try and get to that magical 50 points before the end of the season. You need your better players, and unfortunately, injuries and players who are not very well. They've had to chop and change a couple today, and it's how they settle into this starting 11. But I have to say, they've started the game very well, Cameron, and it's interesting to see the way Ipswich play. They do actually let you play in front of them. Here comes Hedges down the right-hand side, left to right. Ipswich are attacking, and he's been cleaned out there by Leif Davis. That's going to be a free kick for Blackburn Rovers, and no early yellow card out of the pocket of Stuart Atwell. In fact, no, he has gone to the pocket. I can see it in his hand, and it's a yellow card already for a key man for Ipswich Town, Leif Davis. Bright yellow boots, and he's got a bright yellow card to go with it now. He goes into the book after just 3 minutes of this game. And it does give Blackburn a free kick in a good position. Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Leif Davis, we know he loves to get forward in the opposition's half, but he's going to have to do a lot of defending here this evening against Ryan Hedges. He's got one up on him now with that yellow card, and this is a real opportunity from a wide area down this right-hand side for Blackburn to put that ball into the danger zone. It's Rankin, Costello and Britton who stand over it near side the Blackburn right. One man in the wall. It's around 30 yards from the dead ball line, around 10 yards in from the touch line. And there's a cluster of blue and white Blackburn shirts that are hovering on the edge of the Ipswich penalty area. Orange shirts of the away team all in a line. It's going to be Rankin Costello, whips it in right-footed. Goalkeeper's come for it, only got a punch on it. Hladky had to act decisively, does manage to whip it away, and now Amari Hutchinson can try and run it clear for Ipswich, but it's a good tackle to stop him, and out for a throw-in to Blackburn Rovers, far side there left, on halfway. And it's 0-0 after 4 minutes. Well, it's Hedges again who's involved. He was the one who made the challenge on Hutchison. You can see Hutchison, he just wants to pick up that ball and just run into them blades of grass in front of him because he's got so much pace. He's so direct, but that's where Blackburn midfield players have got to work hard for their teammates today, because they're going to have to if they're going to get anything from this game today. Ball back to Hladky, the green-clad goalkeeper for Ipswich Town. His distribution isn't the best, and it was stopped by Sondre Tronster. And now Hedges is penned in the corner, trying to get a cross in. Showed too much of it, though, to Leif Davis, and this time it is a clean tackle from the former Leeds man, and they can come through the gears now. Ipswich up towards halfway with Massimo Luongo. Tries to turn and get away from Rankin Costello. He's found Morsey in the centre circle. Ipswich attacking in the Blackburn half of the field now. Hutchinson far side, the tractor boys right. Finds his route towards the attacking third, blocks off and has to go back into the heart of defence. It's the returning man, George Edmondson, stands on it. Rolls it into the feet of Morsey. Skipper's got his head up and he's floating the ball forward for Broadhead. Down in the penalty area. Looked clumsy. Referee was well placed to see it. Says absolutely nothing doing. I think it was Dom Hyam who made the challenge. It's cleared away by Blackburn Rovers over halfway. A first scare for them. And now both sides, we've seen them bare their attacking teeth. It's been a nice open 5 minutes. Well, I have to say, I'm sure that certainly needed another look at. I mean, we're just having a look at it now, Cameron, aren't we? And I think there's a big pull on the shirt. I think Ipswich have just been really unfortunate. It's Nathan Broadhead who makes a wonderful run. It's a super pick out, but when he gets into the area, his first touch is in front of the defender, and I think you're right. I think it's Dom Hyam. He takes a lot of that. I think it is, actually. We've just seen it's on our blind side, and I think looking at the replay on the monitors above us, I think Callum Britton has got the wrong side of him. I definitely saw a ripple of a shirt there, Mickey. And absolutely. Well, if there's VAR, it's one they're looking at. Fortunately for Blackburn, there isn't, and now Amari Hutchinson is coming forward. He's been grabbed. That was definitely a shirt pull. And a yellow card has been brandished now for the other side. And Stuart Atwell has had plenty to do in the opening 6 minutes. And this time, a free kick for Ipswich. 35 yards out, and Harry Pickering goes into the book and will be walking that proverbial tightrope for the remainder of this game. 6 minutes gone on Talksport 2, 0-0. And that's both left-backs with early yellow cards. And when you've got the pace that Hedges has got for Blackburn Rovers over on this right-hand side, and obviously Hutchison over on the right for Ipswich,
that is the last place you want to be, because any mistimed challenges now, you know that Stuart Atwell is going to be all over it.
And as a former fullback yourself, Mickey, of this parish as well, after 3 seasons at Blackburn, how does that affect you now if you're playing 85 minutes on a booking?
Well, you just have to be so careful. I mean, Ipswich are just putting the ball into the area now, and I'll try.
Keeper Moores flicked it forward into the 6-yard box, but easily dealt with by Dom Hyam. Moore's going to pick it up again, tight to the left edge of the penalty area, slams it into the shins of Dom Hyam, and out for a throw, and it goes. So the orange shirts of Ipswich starting to come forward. Blackburn may be lucky to withstand the penalty claims of the visiting side. Here is Hutchinson far side the Ipswich right. Fancying and crossing, 30 yards from the byline, back to Twanzebe he goes. Now Wolfenden on the edge of the centre circle. Blackburn doing their best to hold Ipswich off here, and they've done a good job of doing so. So good, in fact, that they forced them all the way downfield and back towards Václav Hladký, 0-0.
Well, it's very good defending from front to back from Blackburn, and I think Ipswich, they're very patient, aren't they, on the ball? They don't panic at times. They'll pass it through midfield if that passes on, and they just keep their cool, and they just wait for that moment, that opportunity, and look for somebody who's out of position. But when it comes, and I think they've got a big shout there, I really do, Cameron, for that penalty. And Broadhead's not going to go to ground, and he did so because he felt the contact.
But Ipswich are coming forward again here, and keeper Moore's trying to make a run through the middle. It slipped out to the left-hand side for Leif Davis in the end, cuts it into the penalty area, the shot goalwards has gone in, and Connor Chaplin has his goal. Leif Davis with another assist, but it was all about the reactionary finish of Connor Chaplin. It caught Ainsley Pears completely by surprise. He got down to it, fumbled it, it sneaks into the bottom corner, and after 8 minutes at Ewood Park, it is Blackburn Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Well, you could actually feel it coming, because Ipswich has started to grow into the game, and they pick up the ball over on the right hand side. It's a great switch of play, but as that ball comes into the box, as a defender, you've got to get close to somebody who scored 12 goals this season in Connor Chaplin. You've got to stand close to him. He just drifts off his marker. He's unmarked. It's easy for him to get into the space that he wants to get into. And when he does, first time, full of confidence, I do have to say, Ainsley Pears, I think he has to do better, Cameron. I mean, it's right down his throat. It's as if he's just tried to pick the ball up, thinking it hasn't got enough pace on it. But the skid off the grass, it's got a little bit of spin on it as well. What a nightmare start for the home side, and a nightmare for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, we've just seen it back on the monitors above our heads, and it's not one that Pears is going to want to see back. It's gone squirming horribly underneath its outstretched right hand. The home fans are taking umbrage with how long it's taken Connor Chaplin to get back inside his own half. We are underway again on Talksport 2, Blackburn 0, Ipswich Town 1, and as it stands, Mickey Gray, Ipswich heading top of the championship for a couple of hours.
Well, you be in that dressing room before kick-off when you say, right, let's get off to a quick start. Let's get in the lead if we possibly can, and then we can start expressing ourselves and maybe search for that second goal. Well, they've been patient, Ipswich. They've looked for their opportunities when they've come. They've looked threatening, but you cannot give Connor Chaplin that amount of space in the 6-yard area just to get his shot away. Look, goalkeeper aside, that was too much space for a forward player who's in absolutely great form.
And let's be real about this as well. So Blackburn, you're looking at the form book, they're not expected to get anything off the side who are pushing for the top two and a return to the Premier League. But this is no free hit, you know, winless under the current manager. In fact, Omari Hutchinson is trying to inflict further damage coming down the far side, Ipswich right, and he's forced the wonky clearance out of Pickering, and Ipswich are trying to turn the screw here, but giving away, and Rankin Costello can finally clear it. He's taken a tumble, and the referee, well, took a moment to deliberate on whether there was an advantage, and it is just going to be a free kick to Blackburn inside their own half. But they trail by a goal to 0, and as I say, there is still pressure on this game, and if you're going into an Easter Monday game with Sunderland, again without a win, again without any points, losing all your momentum, well, you're staring down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah, when you start to panic, Cameron, you're just wondering where your next point's going to come from. And I've looked at Blackburn's fixtures, and they've got some real toughies. They have. And John Eustace can say all he wants, they can train as hard as they possibly can through the week, but when the players go out on the football pitch at Ewood Park, they're the ones who've got to perform. They're open, they're too open and naive. That's why they keep conceding too many goals. And when you've got the quality that Ipswich have got, you cannot give quality players that amount of space. I mean, I'm looking at Leif Davies, 14 assists this season. How much time he's got to put the ball in the box to pick out Connor Chaplin. It's ridiculous, really.
And the fact that he's got 15 now means that's a new championship record for a defender. He's outdone Barry Douglas and Kieran Trippier. Brilliant. And there's still, what, seven games to go after this. Blackburn coming forward. They had a free kick on halfway. Smolix trying to find space down the right-hand side, and the cross comes in across the face of goal, and defensive action had to be taken by George Edmondson because Smolix had found the byline, fizzed the cross along that 6-yard box, and it's stuck behind for a corner and a chance for Blackburn Rovers to respond. They trail by a 1-0.
Well, they're getting themselves into better areas now, Blackburn. It's as if they've just been had a kick up the backside, and when they work this ball down the right-hand side, Smorix is working down the right, but I want to see him in between those lines of the 18-yard box trying to score goals.
Here comes the corner then, near side, the Blackburn right, whipped out towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a quick 1-2, but an awful ball played by Sondra Trunster. He slammed it straight into the first defender. It's ricocheted away for a throw into Blackburn, taken by Britton, and now a turn from Rankin Costello against Davis, crosses it in. Morsley almost deflects it behind, and Davis has kept it alive. And Ipswich don't panic, play the ball out through the defensive third to bring in Kiefer Moore, and they look like a side in vogue at the moment under Kieran McKenna. Back to Gladkey they'll go. He picks the right hand side this time, far side of the field with Twanzebe, former Manchester United man. He's given that away to Dolan though in the corner. Blackburn trying to advance in front of the away fans. Twanzebe, to the great mirth of those travelling from East Anglia, wins it back and is then fouled on the edge of his own penalty area, all going Ipswich's way. After 13 minutes, it is Rovers 0, Town 1.
Well, it was a little bit of a moment for Ipswich Town, wasn't it, as that ball got rolled back to Gladkey in the Ipswich Town goal. Didn't know whether to just clear his lines, but you can just see they want to try and play out as much as they possibly can. That's where they get their patience from, and it's worked for them throughout the whole of the season. I'm sure as it goes along you're going to make mistakes, but no, we're at crunch time now, Cameron, aren't we? 8 games to go. They've got to make sure that they are on it 100%. Be composed and make sure you just keep getting the job done. Tick the games off, and they're certainly doing that so far in this one.
Aerial ball up towards Kiefer Moore for Ipswich. He's bundled off it by Wharton, and Blackburn will clear. Twanzebe put in the pressure by Tyree Stolen, so Ipswich again are forced to go back to the goalkeeper. And Gladkey takes Smorix out of the equation with a drop of the shoulder. Rolls it short to his defender Wolfenden. Forward to Morsey, halfway inside the Ipswich half. Space might be opening up here for Luongo. Sprays a pass out to the left, over halfway now. Tight to the left-hand touchline is Leif Davis of Ipswich, looking to get a cross in. More dummies it in the 18-yard box, nearly rolled into Chaplin. And it was taken back by Rankin Costello, only briefly though. Ipswich so good at recycling possession, and it's Luongo into the penalty area, chips towards the back post, and Hutchinson was there, and it had to be speared behind for a corner. It's all Ipswich again. They lead 1-0.
It's fantastic. It's great on the eye to watch how they kind of suck across to the left-hand side, all the Blackburn Rovers players, and then that switcher play down this left-hand side with Leif Davies and Broadhead, a super little flick inside. I mean, it's wonderful to watch, and you just want them to put the ball in the back of the net at the end of it, because we've been talking about these goals for a long time, but the threat that they caused in that final third, fantastic to watch.
Well, Leif Davis is taking his time to go over for this corner, which is far side the Ipswich right, in front of the home fans, and they are booing mercilessly because nobody showed any great hankering to go over and take that one for Ipswich Town. They're a goal up, scored by Connor Chaplin on his return to the side, 13 for the championship season now for him. As we pass 15 minutes on Talksport 2. Plenty of orange Ipswich shirts for Davis to aim for. He's still deliberating. Referee's going to stop play now as well, actually. He wants a word with 2 bodies inside the 6-yard box. Kiefer Moore has been called in. And I think it's Scott Wharton as well, who's invited the attention of the referee, Stuart Atwell, talking to all round, and we can finally get back underway. Ipswich looking to double their lead. Here it comes from Davis towards the front post, and Moore got up there high, but he plants his header over the bar, and it's another let-off, another warning call for the Blackburn Rovers, and the deficit stands at 1.
Yeah, it is, and again it's Kiefer Moore, and you can see Scott Wharton, he's panicking actually before the corner's even taken. He's holding on to Kiefer Moore because he knows he's the real threat. He's full of confidence at the moment. He's had a brilliant start to his Ipswich career on loan, but again, he just moves towards that front post, gets away from his marker. But where's the communication? I would get somebody in front of Kiefer Moore and make it difficult for him just to get that little flick on it near post.
So here we are then, Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1. Ipswich set to head to the top of the championship before Leeds travel to Watford later on. Well, I hope they've already travelled there. That's at 8 o'clock on Talksport 2. Straight after this, hang around. It's your home of the EFL, the Talksport network. Here's Dolan for Blackburn. 20 yards inside the Ipswich half. He's taken it from wide on the left to a central berth. And now he's rather run out of options. He eventually plays in Callum Britton over his right shoulder. Now here's Hedges into the attacking third. A foot in comes from Nathan Broadhead, and it's a throw into Ipswich 10 yards from the corner flag.
Yeah, well, they've got to do it a lot quicker for me, Blackburn Rovers. They do work it well, and they look good down this right-hand side with Hedges and Callum Britton when he can try and get himself over the halfway line. But the end product, the quality has got to be better. They've hit the first man on 3 occasions, and one of those was from a corner, Cameron, which he tried to play short. And I like a little bit of invention. But early on in the game, when you're trying to get back into it, just put that ball in the box and ask questions of these Ipswich Town defenders, whether they want to clear their lines, whether they want to try and keep hold of this clean sheet, because that's where goals might come this evening. There's
a problem for Connor Chaplin, the goal scorer here for Ipswich Town. He's gone down on his haunches 20 yards inside his own half. We're waiting for play to restart with a Leif Davis throw in. This is the delay, so a couple of Ipswich players have come across to get a drinks break and get some instruction from Kieran McKenna. He wants to stay on though, Connor Chaplin, and the physio has been kept at bay on the near side, and that's wound up the home fans, who are getting increasingly irate by 1, the delay, but 2, the scoreline, and 3, the way their side have struggled to have an impact on this game. Now the toss is being argued by Ryan Hedges and Sam Smodic to the referee, who are asking surely he's got to go off the field, but the referee has now come across to speak to Sam Morsey, the captain of Ipswich Town, and after all that fuss, we start with a throw-in again, and it's as if nothing has happened. But I think that's something they've done well in the opening 18 minutes, Mickey. They've stopped the play as well when Ipswich have looked like they're having good moments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can sense the frustration, because I think everybody out there just wants to get on with the game. And when you've got somebody who's standing there and doesn't want to go off the field, I thought there might have been a little bit of blood on his shirt or something, but turns out there wasn't on Connor Chaplin. He just wanted to get on with it. But I'm sure at the end of the first half, Connor, that we're going to add on maybe 30 seconds or a minute or something to the game.
Callum Britton with it in the right back position for Blackburn. His side 1-0 down, and he's played a pass straight to Luongo just inside the Rovers half here. Ipswich coming forward. Morsey now central, 45 yards out into Twanzebe over his right shoulder. Tight to the right touchline is Hutchinson, running at the defender Pickering. He's on a yellow card as well. Hutchinson forced back onto his left, but away from goal for the moment. Here's Wolfenden, 45 yards out for the Tractor Boys. Edmondson in the deepest lying orange shirt, but he's in the centre circle still, but it's a poor pass. He's played it straight towards Trunster, who tries to lob it downfield, looking for Tari Stolen, and a diving header back to the goalkeeper means that Václav Hladký can stand on the ball and invite Tari Stolen in before it's that age-old concept, picking the ball up, eating up more of the clock. And to me, Mickey, it looks like they're missing a bit of a presence in the attacking third, Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about Sam Gallagher. I think he just brings something different for Blackburn, and I'm really surprised. I've seen Tyree Stolen play up front before, and he's got great feet and he's really lively, and when you put him in a 1v1 situation, you don't know which way he's going to go, but as a striker, I just don't see it.
Up towards Sam Smodic, the arcing ball for Blackburn Rovers, but it was flicked off the head of Wolfenden, back to his goalkeeper, who bowls out quickly. And now Ipswich coming forward again. They lead 1-0 after 20 minutes at Ewood Park. Set to go back to the top of the championship. And, well, what a rise it has been for Kieran McKenna. Promoted second in League One in his first full season in charge last term. However, his side have given it away, though. Smodic's coming forward, trying to plot a pass into the centre. Looking for Ben Cresceni. But the Aston Villa loanee was stopped by Morsey. And now it's Ipswich's turn to come forward. Hutchinson. Far side the Ipswich right, up against Pickering, who gets a foot in, and it will run out for a throw-in. But the orange shirts of the away side are coming forward in numbers again. Here's Morsey, corner of the attacking third. Twanzebe is just to his right, nudges it into his path. Blackburn have got everybody behind the ball, and they're behind in this game as well. Wolfenden edging forward into the Blackburn half. Sees Davis open on the left-hand side. Corner of the area, crosses quite close to the goalkeeper this time. And it was a comfortable gather for Ainsley Pears, who fumbled that Connor Chaplin shot into his net for the first goal. That has to give him some confidence, but there's a problem for Blackburn because Harry Pickering has gone down in challenging for that aerial ball with his goalkeeper. Has picked himself back up, but it remains 1-0 to Ipswich. Yeah, for a goalkeeper, that's got to be helpful, Mickey.
Well, no, absolutely. Look, I mean, the problem I'm seeing, Cameron, in front of me is Blackburn just can't get out of their own half. And you just touched on Tyree Stolen. Look, his work ethic is fantastic, and it always will be. But if the ball's not coming to you and you're not getting service, people then start to drift into different positions. Sammy Smodic He's only picked the ball up on the right-hand side. He's never had the chance to pick his head up, to maybe see that through ball. And every time Blackburn get it, they've got to take an extra pass. Well, because if they don't, they keep giving the ball away. It's
a damning indictment of how Blackburn have started this game. 22 minutes in, Sam Smollick's top scorer in the Championship, 21 goals, and we've hardly seen him. As Ipswich come forward again, down their right-hand side up towards Hutchinson. Spins to keep the ball alive against Pickering. He's winning a lot of those battles one-on-one, but this time Blackburn have recycled the ball as the rain starts to pour at Ewood Park. Forward towards Dolan with a quick overlap towards Cresceni. Turns into the Ipswich half of the field, but Twanzebe reacted. And the ball is kept alive on the touchline by Luongo. Plays it more central. This might be an opportunity for Morsey to get his head up in the centre circle. Finds Broadhead. Now this is Leif Davis into the attacking third. Now Ipswich go, leading by a goal to nil, but Broadhead has tripped over it. And he's allowed Trunster to win the ball back. Plays it up towards halfway. Smodics. His influence stunted so far, and he's forced to play back inside his own half once again. And all the noise is coming from the away fans. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, and absolutely right, because they'll be happy with what they've seen, these Ipswich supporters from early stages of this game. And we can hear some boos and jeers from Blackburn Rovers supporters because they're not enjoying anything at all. You know, they're not causing a threat. Got to try and get in behind them if they possibly can and just create some real good opportunities, and that just springs a little bit of confidence into your players, but at the moment I'm not seeing it.
Well, here's a moment that typifies the way that Blackburn have been so far. Callum Britton coming down the near side right flank, tried to get a crossing against Leif Davis, cannons it off the defender's shin, back onto himself, and it's out for an Ipswich throw, which is where we restart after 23 minutes at Ewood Park. On Talksport 2, Ipswich leading Blackburn Rovers by a Connor Chaplin goal to nil. And they're good value for their lead at the moment. As it stands, they'll be going back to the top of the Championship. If it stays this way, they'll be 2 points ahead of Leicester, having played a game more after the Foxes were beaten by Bristol City in the early kick-off. Leeds United on this station later on, away at Vicarage Road against Watford, with a chance to take the summit again for them. As Blackburn come forward over halfway, Trunster using Scott Wharton out to Pickering just inside the Ipswich half. And the rain has gone from a tinkering to an absolute downpour. It's throwing itself down now in Lancashire. Blackburn's parade is being rained on, and there's very little to suggest there's going to be any sort of revival. A crossfield ball from Dom Hyam goes astray, but the clearance is equally poor from Twanzebe. Might be an opportunity here for Pickering to get a cross in. Has the over on the sideline? No, says the assistant referee. So here's Rankin Costello, edge of the area. Forced away from goal though. Not many times you've seen Ipswich, Mickey, with every man behind the ball, but they're doing as best they can to hold Blackburn out, and so far it's working.
Yeah, well, the reason they can get everybody behind the ball is because when Blackburn try and counter-attack, they're not doing it quick enough, and it's a big problem for them. You've got to work wonders, and we keep talking about players, Dolan, Cresceni, who I think's been really poor so far in the game. They've got to offer more. He's got a chance now down this right-hand side, but where's the quality at the end of this move?
Smollick's 20 yards from the corner flag, forced away from goal again, as Blackburn so often have been. Up towards Britton it goes. He's, for 1 point, the furthest lying red and white shirt forward, and once more he's forced to go back towards halfway. Blackburn can't get a foothold in this game, and then just to add insult to injury, Dom Hyam spears the ball out to his right-hand side, plays it straight out of play on the full, and it's back to Ipswich, who, well, Blackburn haven't been able to lay a glove on so far. We've had 25 minutes at Ewood Park. It is Rovers 0, Ipswich 1.
Yeah, look, there's no pressure on Dominic Hyam there also, is there? I mean, he just chops the ball onto his right foot. It's a simple pass out to the right-hand side. And this is what frustrates managers, coaches, even supporters, because they know that the simple pass is on, but when it doesn't work for you, it just builds up the animosity in the stadium when you find yourself a goal behind. You've got to dig deep, Cameron. You've got to try and find that little bit of confidence within yourself and say, right, I'm the one who's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck. And who's that going to be in a blue and white shirt?
Well, that early goal for Connor Chaplin has knocked all the atmosphere out of 3 sides of this ground. It's a healthy travelling contingent. I was told 5,000 have travelled up from Ipswich. That's quite the showing for a side in vogue. The long ball goes over the top up towards Cresceni. He's been flagged offside, tries to stick it over the top. The ball's actually ended up in the back of the net. The flag was up long before. And actually it was, I think, a clearance from Wolfenden, and he tried to hook away. I think he also knew the flag had gone up. But a rare moment and parade forward there for Blackburn Rovers. It was Cresceni coming down the left-hand side, clearly offside, or so it seemed to my eye. Yeah, I think there's a couple of yards in it. Flicked it over the goalkeeper. And well, it's a brief moment of joy for a Rovers side who've had nothing to cheer about. They're putting the pressure on again though. Morsey forced to turn in his own defensive third and bring in Twanzebe because he had Smolix right over his shoulder. But Ipswich, as they have done when asked the question so far, have found a way forward. Here's Broadhead, left edge of the penalty area, attacking for Ipswich onto his right foot, now turns onto his left, tries to tee it back towards Chaplin, it comes away from him. Luongo edge of the penalty area, shoots into a body of a defender, and away it pings up towards Smolik, who's got a lot to do there. He's on his own in blue and white, turned into Leif Davis, and it's just too easy for Ipswich at the moment.
Brilliant, working the ball really well down the left and the right hand side. But what's so impressive, Cameron, is how many players they've got just standing or inside of the 18-yard box when they get that ball into those wide areas. Broadhead this time showed great ability to get past his marker, Callum Britton, but then it's that second pass. He's just got to take a little bit more care. Talked about getting the first goal, but it's also getting that second one if you possibly can.
Luongo's gone jumping into a challenge with Trunster there in halfway inside the Blackburn half. Referee gave nothing. Ipswich have won it back, so ire from the home fans again, but it is a sloppy pass from Sammy Morsey. Played it straight to Rankin Costello, who tried to spear a ball over halfway looking for Crisene, and that too is met by Twanzebe. It's not been a classic, but it is an important one. Ipswich leading by 1-0. They're set to go top of the Championship until Leeds play away at Watford later on. As for Blackburn, they're hovering precariously above the drop zone, 19th place, 3 points above Huddersfield, who at the moment occupy that third and highest relegation spot. But forward again come the visitors. Leif Davis trying to shot from the edge of the area. Well, Leif Davis, Nathan Broadhead I should say, but he turned into the body of Scott Wharton. And for the first time he was on his own in orange. Normally there's a plethora of options around him. Here comes Smolix on halfway for Blackburn Rovers, trailing by 1-0, and that's not going to change if they keep misplacing passes. That one went straight to the feet of Wolfenden, and Ipswich can come forward again, and now Chaplin on the turn, 25 yards out, up against Wharton, 18-yard box, turns onto his left foot, slips, and all the stinger got out of the shot, and in the end it was an easy gather for Ainsley Pears, but all too easy for Ipswich to come through the gears. The shot by Chaplin saved, and it remains 1-0 to the visitors. I'm going to break off for a second though. I'm going to get the thoughts of Mickey Gray in a moment, but Blackburn are foraying forward now. Crisene far side the left, halfway inside the Ipswich half, trying to thread it forward into the penalty area, but it's a loose ball and easily picked up in the end by Sammy Morsey, who can clear, and it remains Rovers 0, Ipswich 1, Mickey.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's happening in a Blackburn Rovers shirt, I have to be completely honest with you. I mean, Ipswich are just slicing through them like butter whenever they just go through the gears, and they look quality when they do it. Connor Chaplin does great to work that ball onto his left foot. Doesn't really do well with the strike, but it's the build-up play. How many options they've got. And you can see the Blackburn Rovers players, I mean, they're at 6s and 7s. They're wondering who to mark, where the next runner's going to come from. And then when they do win the ball back themselves, they just have 2 or 3 passes and give the ball away. Chasing around too much, you can't do that as a player because you're just going to be absolutely shattered.
Yeah, I know they've made 3 changes, Mickey, but it looks to me like this is a side under a completely new manager, not one that's had 9 games in the job already.
Yeah, for me, I don't think the balance is right, Cameron. I talked about, and you did as well, we thought Rankin Costello should have been as a right back, and I think that's something that they should look at now, because Callum Britton can play as a midfielder. He's got the physicality, he's got the energy, and they need to just chop it around a little bit. Tyrese Dolan, maybe put him out wide and put Crisene through the middle. It looks like he's a bigger physical presence. They've got to do something because this game is drifting away from them.
Here's Chaplin. Ipswich leading by 1-0 at Ewood Park. Far side the Ipswich right-ears. Turns away from goal to bring in Wolfenden. Everybody is within 40 metres of the Blackburn goal line here. Morsey facing goal but forced away by Crisene. Flick through towards Hutchinson, edge of the penalty area. Blackburn do recover though. Pickering with a good challenge sends it back to his goalkeeper, but the clearance goes straight back to Ipswich, and well, it's more of the same. No foothold in the game from Blackburn Rovers. Here's Luongo on halfway, traverses the half, forward towards Connor Chaplin, 45 yards out from goal. This time goes away from it. Now Twanzebe far side the Ipswich right, down the line towards Hutchinson, up against Pickering. No lets up for the Blackburn fullback so far tonight, but he does recover to block the second ball, Pickering, and clears up towards Hedges on halfway, trying to turn. Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1, but a crossfield ball here in favour of the home team, up and towards the attacking third. Lovely cut back, and there's the equaliser, and it's Joe Rankin Costello finding the top corner of the net to silence the away fans. And finally, Blackburn Rovers, well, do they? The flag has gone up, and it was a belated flag as well. And celebrations have been cut short because this goal for Joe Rankin Costello is not going to stand.
Well, this is going to be really interesting to see again, because I think it looked like Tyrese Dolan down that left-hand side was in an onside position. I might be totally wrong, and I think the linesman put his flag up very early, but he's done ever so well to pull that ball back towards the penalty area, to just stick the ball in the back of the net, Rankin Costello. But I'm seeing that diagonal pass now. Now, that's onside for me. I don't see how the linesman can see whether it's the player in front of the goalkeeper. It looks like Smorix who's in front of the goalkeeper, Hladky, and that's why he's been given offside. Oh my goodness, how do you feel? I mean, there's no attempt there, Cameron, right, to win the ball or to try and get a flick or a deflection. Is he in the blind side or the eyesight of the goalkeeper, Hladky, Sammy Smorix?
You know what? I'm going to disagree there. We've just looked at the replay above us on our screen, and Mickey's called it basically right. The ball's come into Rankin Costello. He's had a shot. Smorix doesn't make a play for the ball. However, what he does do is jump right in front of the goalkeeper. I think you could argue that puts Hladky off. However, I still think if you're an Ipswich Town player there, you are very lucky, because that was the best we've seen of Blackburn coming forward. However, I wonder if members of the Goalkeepers Union might say that the goalkeeper was unsighted.
I think every goalkeeper would agree with you, Cameron. There's no doubt about it. But why do you leave the floor in Sammy Smorix and jump off the ground to get away from the shot from Rankin Costello, because he doesn't want anything to do with it? And I think the goalkeeper, Hladky, can see that all the way. I'm not too sure if he's directly in the eye line, Smorix. I think they're being hard done by, I have to say, and I would say that because I love to see goals.
But here comes Chaplin looking for one at the other end on the edge of the penalty area, but he's outsmarted this time by Dom Hyam, having been played in by Kiefer Moore. Blackburn still haven't cleared it, but it is a cool pass out from the back in the end towards Trunster. That's the problem, I think, with the offside law in its current form, Mickey. There's still so much left up to interpretation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I can see why it works both ways. And look, Smorix was in an offside position, but I just don't think he wanted any part of that move at all.
Here's Hedges, corner of the area. Blackburn coming forward, trying to find an equaliser. It's ironic, it's probably the first time that Smorix isn't directly involved in the goal, and then he can't help get in the way. He's been absolutely the golden man.
Yeah, but I think we need to see certainly a little bit more from him in this game, Cameron. It's not his fault. The service up to him hasn't been great, and I think because of that, he started to drift over to this right-hand side. I like to see him through the lines of the 18-yard box on the half-turn, creating opportunities, but they've got to improve if they're going to get Smorix on the ball.
Well, dramatic at both ends. Don't forget as well, when it was 0-0, there was a strong Ipswich shout for a penalty that went against them. Then Connor Chaplin's goal meant that was largely forgotten, but Blackburn themselves might feel aggrieved. Here's Dolan though, turning Davis, crossing into the penalty area. That ball is hooked away by Wolfenden. It has gone behind for a corner though, and this is better from Blackburn Rovers. However, after 35 minutes, just shy of on Talksport 2, they trail by a 1-0.
Well, Tyrese Dolan, who was involved, he's just won the corner for his side again here with a lovely bit of play down the right-hand side. That comes from that little bit of confidence. Yes, it was a chalked off the offside goal, but Dolan made the run down the left-hand side, being involved in it, just growing in confidence a little bit, super little bit of ability, but that cross, whip it in with distinction as if you want to get somebody on the end of it. It was a bit of a floaty ball. Yes, they've got a corner, but that's when it has to be better.
Callum Britton's going to take it near side of Blackburn right, his side, a goal down. Keeper Moore heads away, it's going to go back towards the taker. Now it's picked up by Pickering, he fires across in towards the back post. Wolfenden got up highest, drops on the edge of the penalty area, and Hutchinson reacts quickest because Smorix was waiting to take a shot, he was waiting for the ball to come to him. Hutchinson in Ipswich Orange said thank you very much, nipped in and rescued the ball for his side. Ipswich lead by a 0-0, set to go to the top of the championship table. Got a bit of a let-off with the offside goal disallowed for Blackburn Rovers, rightly or wrongly. It'll be one they continue to talk about, and it'll be interesting to get John Eustace's thoughts at full time if that does have a bearing on the way the game pans out. But before that, very little Blackburn had offered going forward. They are trying to put pressure on Twanzebe now, who's halfway inside his own half. Back to Hladky it goes again for Ipswich Town, and they'll start from square one. Wolfenden in his penalty area, and we're starting to see more of a press, I think, now, aren't we, Mickey, from Blackburn Rovers? Is this the kind of reaction that you might have been hoping for?
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. Once you get the crowd involved in the game, it just gives you that bit of more energy, if you like, and when you're on the front foot, you certainly feel better about yourself, because For the first 35-36 minutes of this game, Blackburn Rovers have been on the back foot. They've been chasing the ball, but you can see the confidence now.
Lovely bit of play by Dolan to twist and turn and bring in Hedges edge of the penalty area. Tried to look over his shoulder and bring in Rankin Costello, but it was the wrong ball to play, and then it's an easy jockey back by Edmondson to his goalkeeper. A pick up of Hagley, and Ipswich still lead by a goal to nil.
Well, I mean, it's fantastic again, the build-up play from Tyrese Dolan, who's been a real live wire, I have to say. But when Ryan Hedges picks up that ball, he's got a simple pass out to his left-hand side to Crescene. He's got to play that ball instead of doing these silly flicks. Look, you have to think as a player, I'm losing. Do the simple things first, and when we get ourselves back on level terms, that's when I can do the flicks and the tricks and maybe express myself a little bit more.
Oh, that's such a poor ball by Sondra Trunster. He's just inside the Ipswich half, turns back to try and bring in Dom Hyam, plays it straight out of play. Complete miscue from the Norwegian midfielder. And Ipswich have been gifted back possession just inside the Blackburn Rovers half. Ipswich lead by a goal to nil, scored by Connor Chaplin on his way back into the team. Missed the win, the high scoring win against Sheffield Wednesday before the international break. No Sam Gallagher today. He's out with illness, and Arne Sigurdsson, tricky winger, likely out for this season after an injury on international duty. But here comes his replacement, Hutchinson, down the right hand side. He's failed to get his crossing in the end, and it was an easy gather for the goalkeeper. But I've been impressed, Mickey, with Amari Hutchinson. Normally see him through the middle, playing out wide in the absence of Sigurdsson. I think he's given Harry Pickering quite a good run down that
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. I think we've just seen, haven't we, that in a one-on-one foot race, Hutchinson's got the better of him. So I'm sure that's something that Kieran McKenna will be looking at to say, right, let's isolate Pickering. He's on a yellow card. Let's get Hutchinson in a 1v1 situation for him. He's got to stay on his feet. And that's why I think he's getting the better of him at the moment. But I'm so impressed with Ipswich, the way they're patient at the back. They wait to try and play through the lines. But when they do, and they get into that final third, they just burst forward in numbers. And it's impressive to see.
Blackburn have a free kick 20 yards inside their own half. Joe Rankin Costello was body checked by Massimo Luongo, and they both ended up hurt, hence the delay. It is 1-0 the Ipswich lead. Set to move into top spot in the Championship while we wait for Leeds to start at Watford later on Talksport 2, 8 p.m. kick-off in that one.
I'm just seeing another replay, Cameron, of the goal, the disallowed goal, and I don't know. For me, Smodics is nowhere near the eye line.
Do you know what? We've just seen a reverse angle, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's quite telling, because from that viewing angle, I don't think he is.
Yeah.
And I think I know they say that give a bit of the benefit to the goalkeeper at times, and there are words in law to protect them, but I think he's been very fortunate there, Václav Hladký, and so have Ipswich Town. But that was the first time we properly saw Blackburn Rovers come forward. Disallowed the goal from Joe Rankin Costello, so it is just Connor Chaplin's that stands to put Ipswich a goal up within 5.5 minutes of half-time. Here's Leif Davis on halfway, plays his pass too far ahead of Luongo, who tries to jump in and win it back off Trunster, who I think is struggling in that midfield against quite a strong Ipswich middle line. And it seems to me, Mickey, that Blackburn are losing these battles all over the place.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that's why you just need to change the players into different positions. If they do that, I think it's going to help them out a lot more. Tronstad's really struggling because you've got Morsey and Luongo who are just getting on the ball too much. Ipswich, again, look, in front of me now, playing out from the back, full of confidence. When it comes off, it looks fantastic, and when you're at the top of the table, 9 times out of 10 it does come off.
And there's a man down for Ipswich, and it's Connor Chaplin. He was involved in that effort to try and play out from the back, and he's twisted awkwardly and gone down. Nearest to him was Scott Wharton. Not quite sure what part he had to play in it, but he's rolled himself over and is now pulling himself to his feet. Ipswich's goal scorer. We're coming up to half-time. The away side leading at Ewood Park by a goal to nil, and he was just crunched a little late there by Wharton, was Connor Chaplin. A bit cynical, really. Not worthy of a yellow card, says the referee Stuart Atwell. And we go on with Ipswich garnering the advantage. Davis, left-hand side of his defence, back into his penalty area looking for Edmondson. Floats it forward towards halfway in the head of Kiefer Moore. Down towards his Wales teammate Broadhead. Now Leif Davis, halfway inside the Ipswich half, and they look so comfortable, Mickey Gray in possession, even when there's pressure on them, even if it's Hladký, the goalkeeper, with Dolan running at him. We saw how comfortably he spins away from his goal line. They're a side riding the crest of a wave at the moment.
They're fantastic, so good on the eye, and from back to front, Every player knows exactly what their roles are, when to slow the game down. If they can feel a bit of pressure, they just keep the ball at the back. But when they burst into action and they get into the opposition's half, you can see 4, 5, 6 players wanting to get involved because they know how good they are and how their possession gets them into those really good positions. And you can see why the forward players get so many goals, can't you, Cam, playing for Ipswich?
Well, they've won 7 of the last 8 of Ipswich Town. Their only defeat was against Cardiff away on March the 9th. And they're coming forward again. Davis with the Tractor Boys leading by a goal to nil. 42 gone on Talksport 2. Uses Luongo with a 1-2. Puts it more central. Blackburn's half of the field in towards Morsey. 45 yards out from goal. Keeper Moore tries to turn between the lines in a battle with Hedges. And Hedges got a foot in at the right time to steer it back to Callum Britton, who turns, seeing Nathan Broadhead coming towards him. Goes back to his goalkeeper, who can clear his lines again. But Ipswich again, first to the ball, closed down by Edmondson, and the attack is back on. Luongo further forward towards Chaplin, turns, and on his left foot he had a shot, but he never really got around it. And his body language shows frustration because he picked a good moment there on the edge of the penalty area. Chaplin shanked at it though, and it's well wide, and Ipswich still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, Connor Chaplin, I mean, he's been getting himself into some really good areas, hasn't he? And again, Ainsley Pears just clearing a long ball upfield, trying to pick out Tyrese Dolan, who must be 5'6", 5'7". It's going to keep bouncing back, and that's why Ipswich just find the space and opportunities around the edge of that 18-yard box.
Wolfenden was put under pressure by Chris Senni, who's forced the Ipswich man into a clearance, then picks up a stray ball at the side of the field, takes a quick throw into the penalty area. It goes. Smollett's trying to cut it back, saved by the goalkeeper, and he needed to because Hedges was in there in the 6-yard box, and Ipswich clear their lines. And where has that been for 43 minutes? Blackburn pushing for an equaliser in this game, but now they get threatened with being caught in the counter. Amari Hutchinson, far side is right, up against Pickering, puts a foot in, and it's out for a throw. Finally, a bit of attacking intent from Blackburn.
Yeah, and getting Sammy Smorix involved in the game inside the opposition's 18-yard box, where he does his best work. He's got such clever feet. He's unselfish. He got himself to the byline. It's actually a decent cross, and Haladgi does really well in the Ipswich goal there just to get any contact on it. But what I'm seeing, Cameron, is one player waiting to put the ball in the back of the net, whereas when I see Ipswich breaking forward, there's 5, there's 6 players, and that's because Blackburn is finding it so difficult to get out their own half.
Ipswich leading by a goal to nil. Just over a minute left of normal time in this first half. And remember, a win will put them top of the Championship table, ahead of Leeds United and Leicester, who they started this game at a point behind, and they've got a free kick in the centre circle now. Morsey's gone to ground under the challenge of Dolan, who tries to help him up. Morsey wants no part of it, and a yellow card comes out for Tyrese Dolan as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tyrese Dolan there, you could see that the opportunity wasn't really there for him when Morsey just flicked the ball and got his body in front of Dolan and himself. And he had to make contact right on the centre circle, so it's a bit of a flimsy yellow card to give away just before half-time as well. But I think of all the players in blue and white out there, I think Tyrese Dolan's looked pretty lively actually in the first half, but he needs to start from deeper, Cameron, because that's when he does his best work. He's got super feet, but I think putting him up there, trying to hold the ball up alongside Edmondson and Wolfenden, it's a mismatch, isn't it?
We're waiting for the free kick to be taken on halfway. Morsey with the ball at his feet, the fouled man, as we approach added time at the end of this first half in a key Championship game at both ends of the table. Blackburn will be looking nervously over their shoulder. It's Twanzebe, the Ipswich right back, over halfway, bringing in Chaplin. He seems to have been everywhere going forward for Ipswich so far. Cuts it back towards Twanzebe on halfway. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first period. Here comes Leif Davis, man who laid on the goal, near side the Ipswich left. Down the line he goes towards Broadhead, who had a loose touch there and showed a little too much towards Tronster, who won the ball back. He thought legally, I thought legally, referee thought otherwise, and it's a free kick 20 yards inside the Blackburn half for Ipswich.
Well, Stuart Atwell, I mean, he's coming across and he's going to give John Eustace a yellow card, I think, here, or one of the coaches at Blackburn Rovers, because there was a delay of 2 or 3 seconds, which doesn't sound a lot of time, but it looks like the game's going to carry on. Tronstad's the one who goes to ground, and I think he's got away with actually not being given a yellow card. It looked like they were going to play on, and you can see the frustration from the Blackburn Rovers coaches. They came off the bench, and somebody's just picked up a yellow card from Stuart Atwell.
Yeah, I don't think it is John Eustace. I think, as you say, Mickey, it's a member of his backroom staff. But, to be a fly on the wall in that dressing room at half-time. Forward come Ipswich, looking for a second. Hutchinson, corner of the area. Pickering beating him to it in the air, heading away. And now the free kick has been given the other way, I assume against Hutchinson for backing in on Harry Pickering. And so a brief bit of respite for Blackburn Rovers, who are flattered to deceive for much of this first half. And if you're John Eustace now, Mickey Gray, what are you looking to change? You've spoken about an imbalance in certain areas of the pitch. What can he tweak now going into the second period?
Well, look, it's only 1-0. You can go in at half-time, you can readdress, you can maybe change the system around a little bit, which is going to help you out, if possible. Then you've got to look at maybe the bench. I think it might be a little bit too early to do that. But Mark Candy can come on, who knows a real live wire as well. And Telalovic, you can actually hold the line up front as a striker. I just wonder why he's not playing today.
Cristiani thought he'd been fouled, but Ipswich have been caught in the back foot here for a second. Trunster coming through the middle, slips though, and Sammy Morsey gets in his way and then goes down under a really slight challenge from Ben Cristiani, who's been pulled up and free kick has been given away. Sammy Morsey went straight down to ground. There's a laugh and a wry smile from young Ben Cristiani, who thought he'd opened up space in the left flank there. Blackburn players coming forward. They had an option for an overload there. I thought it was a little bit harsh that Morsey flicked it past him. Oh, it's one of those where maybe a foot dangling. I'm not sure there was much contact on the Egyptian, but a promising Blackburn attack is curtailed, and they've been a precious commodity in this first half. Ipswich lead by a goal to nil with 30 seconds of added time left.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was no malice in it at all, Cameron, was there? I think it was just contact. It was really good play in that midfield area, getting away from your marker, and Cristiani, it just made contact. Didn't really need to do that. And that's why you can hear the frustration from these Blackburn Rovers supporters. They want them to get on with the game and try and get on level terms actually before we go in at half-time.
Well, they've had plenty to say in this first half and plenty to grumble about as well, not least the scoreline, trailing by a goal to nil. And that's how we will end the first half and listen to the boos at Ewood Park. Many of them will be aimed at the referee and his assistant. It was a poor start from Blackburn Rovers, and Connor Chaplin, after 9 minutes, tucking away after an insightful ball from Leif Davis to put Ipswich as it stands top of the championship. Eventually Blackburn started to thaw. They're looking over their shoulders at the bottom end of the championship. Joe Rankin Costello on his return to the side thought he had levelled the scores with a thunderous shot that took a deflection into the top corner, but the assistant referee's flag was raised belatedly after Sam Smodics was adjudged to have been in the line of sight of the goalkeeper, hence the boos from the home crowd. It is a slender lead at half-time, very much all to play for. The half-time score on Talksport 2, Blackburn Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Ipswich in the lead and unhappy Ewood Park. Listen to that. And "you're not fit to referee" rings around the stadium. Some controversy in that first half. Mickey Gray. Let's talk about the goal first though. Came on 7 minutes, Connor Chaplin with his 13th of the season. But as Cameron Pope said in commentary, it's not one that the Blackburn keeper Ainsley Pears will want to see again, is it?
Oh, absolutely not, Ollie. He's had an absolute stinker. But what frustrated me, or annoyed me should I say, is how easy it was for Ipswich to work the ball over from right to left and then just put the ball in unmarked into the box to one of the form players in the championship in Connor Chaplin. 13 goals now this season. He just breezed into the space, unmarked, didn't really have to make great contact with it, because it wasn't great contact, I have to say, but Ainsley Pears, he's got to do better. It's like he's gone down to his knees thinking, I'm just going to pick this up and then start to move. It's like he was one step ahead thinking about the move after picking the ball up, and it just scuffed off his right hand, ended up into the back of the net. Nightmare start for Blackburn Rovers.
It was indeed. There was just far too much space, wasn't there, for Chaplin in that build-up play, and then the error from Pears, and it looked desperate for Blackburn. But then they thought they were level around the half-hour mark. This was very controversial, Mickey. Rankin Costello sticks it in the back of the net via a deflection, but the linesman judged that Sammy Smodic was in an offside position, interfering with the goalkeeper. I've seen the replay a few times, Mickey. It looked to me as if Ladke could see it all the way, and that Smodic wasn't close enough to be interfering. For me, Blackburn can feel really hard done by that.
No, absolutely, yeah. Now, if I put it this way to you, Wally, right, the linesman is on the right-hand side, and as that ball goes into the back of the net, he can see Smodic just jumping in the air. So from his angle, the linesman's angle, what I would say is he probably does look in front, Sammy Smodic, of the goalkeeper, Ladke. Now, we've been fortunate to see 2 or 3 replays of it, and look, if it goes to VAR, I know it's not in the championship, but I think that goal's given, because I don't think Smodic is in the eye line of Ladke. I really don't, and I think they would have been on level terms, but because it's the linesman who's give the decision, and the angle that he sees the ball go into the back of the net, he looks like Summarised is in front of the goalkeeper's eye line, and I think that's probably the big reason why he put his flag up when it was disallowed.
We're forgetting as well, if we go back to those first 5 minutes at the other end, and the Blackburn fans, I found it almost comical that they were booing so strongly against Stuart Atwell, because Nathan Broadhead goes down in the penalty area, looked like he was clearly held by Callum Britton, nothing given. And that, to me, looked as clear as they come for a penalty to Ipswich.
You're absolutely bang on, Cameron. It was a blatant yank of his shirt, wasn't it, inside the box? So these things have evened themselves out. Mickey Ray, I can't believe you were praising VAR there, were you?
Well, I wasn't, because it's not here. I'm saying if it was here, Blackburn would have been on level terms. There's no question about that. But Cameron makes a good point as well. I do think that was a stonewall penalty for Ipswich early on. Never
thought I'd hear the day. Mickey, how much will that disallowed goal, though, put a fright up Ipswich in a way? Because it did come from nowhere, but it proves that Blackburn can get forward. And they didn't quite get themselves on the score sheet, but they were close enough, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I talked about Tyrese Dolan after that. After they put the ball in the back of the net and was disallowed, he showed some great ability on the ball, as did Ryan Hedges. It gave them that little bit of confidence. And I think John Eustace has got to say to his players at half-time, look, we're only a goal behind, we're creating opportunities, but let's be a little bit more clinical in that final third and get Summarised involved in the game a bit more.
Mickey Gray, thank you very much indeed. It's Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1, live on Talksport 2. Ipswich in control at the moment, and they're heading top of the championship for the time being. We'll run through some of the other day's action in just a moment and bring you the second half next.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL. EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Bring on the ultimate dream team. The classic quarter pounder with cheese and a side of fries. Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
It's the speed. It's the competition. It's all or nothing. Team sport indoor karting with adrenaline-fueled action on every straight, ramp and corner. It's where you, your mates and colleagues can be champions for the day. It's the ultimate karting experience. With 35 tracks nationwide, there's a Team Sport track near you. Book online and save 10% with the code GET10 at team-sport.co.uk.
Whoa there. Victoria's had a Friday night to remember, but now she's outside in the pouring rain and...
You are joking. I've got no data. How are we going to get home?
But then she remembers she's with EE.
Yes, Uber still works.
So then she...
Uber's on me, guys. Should we get a kebab?
Use essential apps like Uber and WhatsApp even when you run out of data. Search EE Mobile.
Stay connected at 0.5 megabits per second. Excludes no frills plans. Terms apply.
At Continental Tires, we've been championing women's football for over 13 years. For us, it's more than a game, it's a passion. Join us on the 31st of March at Molyneux Stadium, Wolverhampton, for the FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup Final, for a celebration of women's football. Continental Tires, driving safety and performance. For tickets, head to wolves.co.uk/tickets.
At B&Q and TradePoint, get 3 for 2 on interior paint and paint mixing, and 4 for 3 on laminate and luxury vinyl click flooring. That's a big spring refresh for less. Shop in-store or online. You can do it when you're B&Q it. Exclusions apply. Ends 8th of April. See DIY.com.
Imagine, it's Saturday. 1 minute you're lying on the sofa, horizontal, in your pyjamas, trying to guess which celeb is dressed up as a singing chicken, eyeing up the last sweet and sour pork ball. And the next, prawn crackers, you're a millionaire. Lotto, will you be next? Play on app, the National Lottery. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
The Premier League is bigger and better than ever. Don't miss any of this season's action on Talksport 2 with Now. This Saturday is Game Day, featuring Talksport 2's most full-on football-dedicated schedule ever. It's your non-stop, one-shop Premier League destination. Game Day on Talksport 2 with Now.
Absolutely magnificent.
Stream the Premier League contract-free with a Now Sports Day or month membership. 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
This is EFL Live on Talksport 2. I'm Ollie Klink at Vicarage Road ahead of Watford against Leeds at 8 o'clock. But at half-time in the game at Ewood Park, it's Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1. Some controversy in that first half as well. Blackburn disallowed a goal that really, I'll be honest, I think should have stood. Ipswich as well denied a penalty though earlier on. So maybe these things all even themselves out. What a day of action we've had as well in the Championship and here on Talksport 2. Earlier on today in the early kick-off, Bristol City 1, Leicester City 0, a result that had a huge impact at the top of the table. I'll run you through how that looks in just a moment. Elsewhere, Millwall 1, West Brom 1, Cardiff City 0, Sunderland 2, Huddersfield 1, Coventry 3, Hull 0, Stoke City 2, Norwich City 2, Plymouth 1, Preston 3, Rotherham 0. Desperate for Rotherham at the moment, isn't it? Queen's Park Rangers won 2-1 against Birmingham City. What a game that was. That was live on Talksport 2. Jimmy Dunn with the late winner for QPR, and it's a big result for them at the bottom of the table. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Swansea City 1 was another result from earlier, and Southampton 1, Middlesbrough 1. A very late goal for Middlesbrough in that game. Southampton missing a number of chances too. Big result as well at the top of the table. Let me run you through how it looks at the moment. Ipswich, as it stands, top of the table on 84 points. They lead Blackburn by a goal to 0. Leeds are second on 82. They play here later against Watford. It's then Leicester, who lost earlier on 82. Southampton have a game in hand on Leeds and Leicester. They're on 74 though, so a bit off the pace at the moment. If we go down near to the bottom of the table, it's such a big victory that for Queen's Park Rangers. They're now 18th on 43 points. Blackburn just below them on 42. They're 3 points above the drop zone now, Blackburn, and trailing at the moment. Plymouth are on 41, Birmingham on 39, and then just below them are Huddersfield, also on 39, and Sheffield Wednesday also on 39 points. It is so tight at both ends of the Championship table, and another game that will affect that is the game later here tonight at Vicarage Road. The sun has just gone behind the stadium. We're opposite the Graham Taylor stand. The lights have just come on, and I'm joined by a great man, the former Watford striker Chris Iwelumo. Chris, very good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ollie. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, very good. Excited for this one. What a game it's going to be.
Yeah, me too. Should be a very good affair. Leeds, let's talk about them. They're absolutely flying at the moment, especially in this calendar year. It's been 12 wins from 13. They've only conceded 3 goals in this calendar year. How crazy is that? All of them came from set pieces, strangely enough, as well. Are you expecting them tonight to just blitz through Watford? How do you see the game going?
I don't see it going really any other way. In fairness, I think Daniel Farke, a class act. You know, I think no matter how the game's going, if they're comfortable 4-0 up or like trailing behind, he's calm, he's organised. That kind of oozes into the players. They have completely belief in how they go about business. They've got goals coming from everywhere. They don't concede goals. I think we've conceded 1 goal in the last 6 away games. You know, it just shows you that they're a relentless kind of footballing machine. Score goals, keep it tight at the back, and they're fantastic on the eye as well. They've got individuals that can win you any game in the Championship, and rightfully so, right up there. I think they'll jump back to top of the table, but this is the business end, Ollie. Now you look at the games that are left. Leicester dropping points today. You know, I think there's a different pressure with the quality that they've got. You know, I think it's the form is let's just say they've not been at it. Yeah, there's pressure on them they're 12 points clear at one point, so they have to kind of get back to winning ways, but they're creating chances. They should have been out of sight today before they conceded that goal. You can say the same about Russell Martin, Southampton as well, against a Middlesbrough side that under Carrick haven't really been a little bit inconsistent. But as I say, Southampton going on that, was it 23, 24 games unbeaten, and then fell off the wagon a little bit, and then back to winning ways, but inconsistency there. Created so many big opportunities today, and they have to be ruthless, especially this time of the campaign.
Yeah, they seem to have hit form just at the right time, don't they? Let's talk about Watford though. They did pick up a win last week under their interim manager Tom Cleverley. Yet another strange season, yet another managerial sacking though, with Valérien Ismaël going out of the door. I don't think anyone's surprised really, are they, in Watford's case? But can you see them at all causing Leeds some problems tonight in front of their home crowd?
Well, I think that the win against Birmingham in the last game would have done the confidence a world of good. You know, I think Tom Cleverley, the coaching team that he's brought in behind him, will have that time to implement certain things on the grass. And I think it's basically tonight is setting them up to nullify the Leeds threat, and then with the quality they've got, maybe counter-attack football with the energy and the pace that they've got in their side to try and then hurt Leeds in that way. Because when Leeds are on top, it's a very high defensive line. They do leave holes, gaps in that distance in behind that you can really capitalise there. So I think it's more of a let's nullify that Leeds side and the threat that they possess.
You've been a player in these kind of situations. Don't tell me that any of those Leeds players don't know the Leicester result from before and aren't keeping an eye on the Ipswich result right now. What's it like when you're in these title races?
Well, I think with the way the results have went today, I think that they'll be even more relaxed. And that's the worrying thing. You know, I think this Leeds side have been throwing a lot of adversity through the season, and they've shown that they've got the character, the mindset, and the belief in their manager to go out there and play the way that they want to. But then all of a sudden, Leicester drop points, Southampton drop points, Ipswich are doing exactly what they need to do and put the pressure on everyone else. And that's just a little motivational tool for Daniel Farke. But I don't think he needs to say too much to this Leeds side. They know exactly what they're all about. As you say, it's near perfect. This 24 campaign so far with the results that they've had. So I think they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, but it's just about getting the ball down, and they're ruthless in front of goal.
The floodlights are just flickered on here at Vicarage Road. We're ready for some football a bit later on. You can join Chris Wellamo and Jim Proudfoot. They'll be providing the commentary from 8 p.m. Don't miss that. Stay with us. It's been a bumper day of championship action, and at the moment Ipswich are leading Blackburn at Ewood Park. Let's bring back in Mickey Gray, former England defender. Mickey, you mentioned in the first half about Blackburn not offering enough, and there were boos, there were jeers from some of their fans. That was before they started aiming them at the referee. But what do you want to see more of from Blackburn as they enter this second period of the game?
Well, I certainly think a little bit more intensity, Ollie, and a little bit more confidence when they do actually get the ball into that final third, because the quality into the area has just not been good enough. And you know, when you're playing at home, I know there's not a massive crowd here, but you've got to try and use that home crowd to your advantage as much as you possibly can. And the only way they'll do that is if you show intent and work hard, and then the fans will start to get behind you, and that's when the confidence starts to come back and filter into the players. But it's going to be difficult. We know that Ipswich are a good side, they're well organised, but there was 2 or 3 occasions in that first half where they did get in behind them, and Ipswich looked a little bit shaky and nervy. Look, let's not forget, we know what's at stake for Ipswich Town. Top of the table if they win this game. They've got themselves one foot in the door. They're winning the game 1-0, but it's, as I said at half-time, it's only 1-0. You've got 45 minutes to turn this game around. Go and show the intent.
Do you feel, though, as if, you mentioned there it is only 1-0, but Ipswich looked very threatening at times in that first half. If they were to go on and get a second goal, they made a very bright start to the first half. If they make another bright start in this second half, that it would be game over if they went 2 or maybe even 3 in front.
Yeah, well, you couldn't see Blackburn coming back from 2 goals down. I just don't think the quality's out there. You know, we touched on a few players that might come off the bench, Telelovic being one of those, but is he going to make that impact that's going to get the goals for Blackburn Rovers? I just think that every individual player out there has got to give a little bit more, maybe 10% more. If they can do that, get the crowd behind them, they can cause Ipswich problems. But as you said, this Ipswich team are organised and they look like they want all 3 points.
The players are back out at Ewood Park. Let's cross back over to your commentary team. Former England defender Mickey Gray, but first your commentator, Cameron Pope.
Thank you, Ollie. We're back underway at Ewood Park. Ipswich leading by a 1-0, and they tried to mount the first attack of the second half. Actually, Connor Chaplin trying to spear a header into the path of Nathan Broadhead. No changes for either side. I'll go through them in a minute, but Broadhead has slipped it through, and it's Chaplin, wrong side of the post, lashing at fierce left-footed effort towards the goal of Ainsley Pears. Went to the outside netting in the end. The net rippled. It's the wrong side for the travelling fans. It was right in front of them. Would have been the perfect start to the second half, but they weren't too bad in the first, were they, Mickey?
No, absolutely, and you know, you show your intent as soon as you come out in the second 45 minutes, and that was fantastic from Ipswich. Still want to play on the front foot. The little reverse pass around the corner to get Chaplin involved. Look, it's a tight angle. I don't actually think he should have took the strike on, but he's that much of a threat, and with that left foot, he's always going to cause problems.
Sandro Trunster has fouled Chaplin tight on the touchline as Ipswich come forward from defence, and Chaplin, who's been down a couple of times in this game, was on his way back from injury. He In fact, it was Scott Wharton who clattered him. It was right in the back of the leg, a painful one on a cold night like this one. The rain has stopped, though, at least. That's something. There's little else for Blackburn to cheer about at the moment. They had that disallowed goal. Joe Rankin-Costello deflected into the top corner of the net, but Sam Smodics, unsighting the goalkeeper in an offside position, said the referee Stuart Atwell. That didn't earn him many friends at half-time. Boos ringing out around Ewood Park. Seemed to forget, however, that a very clear-looking Ipswich penalty on Nathan Broadhead from Callum Britton wasn't given at 0-0. Ipswich coming forward again, cross on the left is just ahead of Hutchinson. It's going to run for Chaplin inside the area on the right-hand side, cuts onto his left boot, looking for a second, bends it towards Pears, who can only fumble it, and it's hooked away by Blackburn Rovers. And Morsy's tried to hook a return ball, but I think he wasn't helped by the fact that two orange shirts looked to be in offside positions. However, the flag has stayed down, and Ipswich are coming forward again. Luongo 35 yards out. And we'll give you those teams in a moment, but it's been such a frenetic start from Ipswich. We haven't been able to. Here we go then. So 2 minutes into the second half, Ipswich lead by a goal to nil. The home team, Blackburn, have Pears in net, a back four of Pickering, who's been booked, Wharton, Hyam and Britton. In front of then Rankin-Costello and Trunster, Smodics the attacking midfielder, Cresceni and Hedges are the wingers, and Tyrese Dolan, who's sporting a yellow card, is leading the line. As for, I should say as well, that yellow card towards the end of the first half went for Keith Downing, assistant head coach to John Eustace, taking umbrage with the referee's decision. As for Ipswich, Václav Kladky's not had too much to do in the Tractor Boys goal. He's behind the back four of Twanzebe, Wolfenden, Edmondson and the booked Davis. Morsey and Luongo in front of him. Connor Chaplin, the goal scorer, and attacking midfield behind keeper Moore, with Broadhead and Hutchinson adding support from the flanks. Ipswich have the lead and looked comfortable for large swathes of the first half. They're hooking a ball forward towards keeper Moore, with his back to goal on the edge of the penalty area, but loses out in the battle with Dom Hyam. On a loose pass from Morse, he's played it into Dolan, 45 yards out, tries to cross the ball, and he had loads of space with Cresceni. The second ball has reached him. The first one was poor, straight into a defender. Cresceni picks it up, forward towards Rankin-Costello, corner of the area, crosses towards the back post. Heads go up, but it's Wolfen, the defender, who gets it away. Drops for Trunster, cries of shoot. From 30 yards out, he hooks it towards the left. Cresceni attacking for Rovers into the penalty area, lines it up for Rankin-Costello away from Twanzebe, tries to turn and get a shot in, but it's a good stop from George Edmondson, who the home fans say took that ball out to play for a corner. Referee doesn't agree, and Ipswich clear their line. Some intent from Blackburn Rovers. They trail by a goal to nil.
Well, it certainly looked as if it crossed the line, didn't it, Cameron? But good play from Blackburn. Tyrese Dolan, I just thought he picked the wrong pass. He had Hedges out to the right hand side, a simple little pass, and he had a great move. It was a 4v2 situation when he actually first picked the ball up, but that's when you've got to be a bit direct, a bit dominant. Get that ball out wide, just break your neck to try and get into the area, put the ball into the box, and then ask questions. But again, Blackburn, final third, they've been so scrappy, they really have in that final third, but they've got to try and make something happen in this second half.
Well, the ball was just presented to Chaplin on the edge of the centre circle. He couldn't do anything with it going forward, and he gifted the ball straight back to Rovers. So trading a possession, and not in terms of quality either. It's been low in patches, but Ipswich have turned it on going forward when they've needed to. And it was a lovely goal by Connor Chaplin. He latched onto a cross, fizzing through the penalty area at ground level by Leif Davis. Turned it past Ainsley Pears, who got down, should have done better. It fumbled in underneath his hand. And it's Cresceni coming forward for Blackburn. Offside flag is up against Hedges. Home crowd haven't realised it. It went through to Smodics, who whipped his shot wide anyway from a tight angle. But I don't think there can be much doubt about that one against Ben Cresceni in the 18-yard box. And, well, it's been a better start to this second period for Blackburn Rovers. They have started to come through the ranks a little bit more and find some space in the attacking third. But, well, we've spoken about them missing players like Arne Sigurdsson, Sam Gallagher. What do they need from Sam Smodics now? They're man of the moment, top scorer in the Championship. He's the man they turn to in times of frustration, and he's just struggled in the first half, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he's just had a lack of service, Cameron. Really, that's all you have to put it down to, and it's frustration. When you know you're the best player, you know you've got 21 goals this season, you want to add to that if you possibly can in a game like this, because you want to test yourself against the top sides in the Championship, and Ipswich is certainly one of those. Look, I like him when he plays in between the lines of the 18-yard box. He's just had a chance there. Yes, it was offside, but that will help Sam Smodics, because they need to get him involved in the game. When he drifts into that little pocket as a 10 position, I think he looks so much better, and he makes Blackburn tick. So get him involved in the game.
Cresceni has tried to pinch his way forward against Sam Morsey, who was having absolutely none of that, and not one to suffer fools, gladly slams it downfield for Ipswich Town, but all the way through to Pears it goes, and Blackburn can start again from the goalkeeper. They trail by 1-0. 6 minutes gone in the second period. You're listening to the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. As Blackburn come forward down the right hand side, Davis has got a cross, got his body in the way and shepherded it behind for a goal kick. And well, every time it looks threatening from Blackburn Rovers. Callum Britton this time coming forward. They've always had a response of Ipswich Town. And remember, on this station later on Talksport 2, you can listen to Watford versus Leeds United from Vicarage Road. 8 o'clock kick-off in that one. Jim Proudfoot and Chris Wellamo taking you through it. Leeds will have, come what may, the chance to take the lead in the race to re-reach the Premier League. They are, as it stands, 2 points behind Ipswich and level on points with Leicester, who have gone down to third, as Kiefer Moore is fouled by Hyam in the centre circle. And this second half, well, it's yet to really get going. We had that opening chance for Nathan Broadhead after near enough 30 seconds of the half, and since then both sides have been sloppy in possession. It's not been a Championship classic, but it will have an effect, this result, on both ends of the table, because Blackburn Rovers, they started this game 3 points clear of the drop, and at the moment that's the way it's staying, as John Eustace still looks for his first win in charge, but well, something's not quite connecting for him.
Well, tired heads. Then you start to think, right, trying to impact the game as much as you possibly can, certainly from a Blackburn perspective, so they are going to have to take risks at some point in this game, Cameron, in the second half. Not now, of course, but I just wonder, and I worry for the outlet ball, because they've tried to play that long ball up to Tyree Stalling in the second half on 2 or 3 occasions. He's nowhere near it. He's not going to win that aerial battle. The other hand is Kiefer Moore, because they're panicking a little bit, Ipswich, over the last 2 or 3 minutes. You play that ball up from the goalkeeper up to Moore, it gets you over the halfway line, he gets fouled, then you can start building up your play again. You can have that little bit of a breather, and that's the difference between the two teams.
There was a momentary bit of concern there for Blackburn Rovers, because Ryan Hedges went down of his own accord in the centre circle, so Blackburn put the ball out, and Ipswich now will return the favour and send it back to Ainsley Pears. He's okay as Hedges. He looked a little groggy as he picked himself up to his feet, just landed awkwardly, having gone for a header. But it is Ipswich who are on top in this Championship battle on Good Friday, and games don't come bigger than the one they've got on Monday. They have a home game against Southampton, currently in 4th place and looking to join the party in the run for the automatic spots. 5:30 on Talksport exclusive. Joe Shannon and Dean Ashton on that one. But the zip and the zing that we had at times in the first half has been completely absent in this second. 5,000 travelling supporters from Ipswich, and they're yet to really make a noise in this second period. And well, there was a chorus of boos on half-time, Mickey, aimed at the referee from the Blackburn fans, but I'm surprised because it's only half full.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're frustrated, aren't they, because they didn't get the equalising goal, and we spoke about it in the first half, didn't we? But I think they've just got to show a little bit more intent, I really do. They've got quality players when they do get that ball into the final third, but Ipswich just look comfortable, and when they break like they are now.
And they're coming forward now with Massimo Luongo as we welcome listeners from Talksport. Hooks it into the middle, but it's way over the bar from Connor Chaplin, their header. If you're just joining us, Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1 from the first half. That's been the lead for much of the game. Connor Chaplin, after 9 minutes, latching onto a good quick ground cross by Leif Davis. Hooked it into the bottom corner, beat Ainsley Pears, and well, Blackburn thought they should have been level. A goal from Joe Rankin Costello on his return to the side, deflected into the top corner, was then belatedly ruled out for offside. Sam Smodics, who's been the man of the moment recently, maybe you might say harshly, Mickey Gray, penalised for being in the goalkeeper's eye line, and it remains Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite fortunate. We've seen replays of it, and I think on another day it might have actually counted, but when you're at the bottom of the table and you're struggling to stay above that dreaded drop zone, those things don't go for you. Ipswich Town have been fantastic in the first half, a lot of possession. They've looked a real threat in that final third, looking to try and add to this 1-goal deficit they have already, and I think Kieran McKenna, there's no question about it, he's the happier of the two managers. He want to try and get out of Ewood Park with 3 points, top of the table. Rub your hands together, thank you very much, but they've still got a lot of work to do.
Ipswich have won 7 of their last 8, and if they win this one as they are doing now, they'll go top of the Championship. Don't forget, later on Talksport 2 you can listen to Leeds United's trip to Watford, and that's at 8 p.m. with Jim Proudfoot and Chris Wellamo. And Ipswich are coming forward again here. Broadhead through the middle, tries to spear it out to Leif Davis on the left hand side. He's in a crossing position now up against Callum Britton, has to work it away from goal. Now picked up by Sammy Morsey. Cries of shoot from the away end. Out to Chaplin. He just might. 35 yards out in a central berth, but he whips it out to the right instead. And now it's Hutchinson advancing towards the corner of the area. Ipswich looking for a second, turns onto his right foot, now onto his left, trying to get past the defender, works it to the edge of the penalty area again. Now the cross comes in, the header up into the air, it's still not clear here. Ipswich knocking on the door. Chaplin, edge of the penalty area, looks up, he's got Keeper Moore in the penalty area who fluffs his lines, couldn't control it, and Blackburn can clear it away. It is 10 minutes into the second half. Blackburn Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Well, a lot of pressure now from Ipswich Town, searching for that second goal. Great intricate football around the edge of Blackburn's 18-yard box, as it just fell to Keeper Moore. His first touch had to be better.
It's Keeper Moore, left-hand side of the penalty area. Offside flag has gone up. It was clipped towards the back post and would have been behind for a corner. But Leif Davis, with his bright yellow boots, got down to the byline and was just a bit too keen in making his run. And he's been such a threat, though, Leif Davis. I mean, one of out and out the best fullbacks in the Championship, bar none. I don't think we can say that. 15 assists for this season now, including today. There was no left back brought in January by Kieran McKenna, so clearly there was faith put in him by his head coach, and just look at the way that he's managed. He's been fabulous running down that wing against Callum Britton, and he's been a lot to handle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 24 years old. I mean, he's got the world at his feet, hasn't he? And if you're creating 15 chances for your players, your teammates to score goals, and let's not forget this season's not finished either, Cameron. What a superstar.
Well, it's a new record for a defender in the Championship, and only Jorginho Ruta has more than him. Forward come Blackburn, though. Hedges edge of the penalty area, showed a little bit too much of it for Edmondson. Cross towards the back post is far too strongly hit, way over the head of Cresceni, and it's gone out for a throw-in to Ipswich. Near side there, right, they lead by a goal to 0, and we've had 58 minutes on Talksport 2.
Well, I'm looking down at the technical area after that cross from Callum Britton. We just basically got too much pace on it. There's no care in it whatsoever, and John Eustace has given him a round of applause. I mean, if I'm a manager and I'm in that technical area and I'm seeing crosses like that come into the box, Cameron, I'm turning away. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe is he being a little bit too soft because they haven't won in the time that he's been at Blackburn? You've got to be a little bit more ruthless as a manager and ask for more from your players.
And there was something ruthless about Luongo diving into a challenge in the edge of his own penalty area, and he's managed to spear the ball out to the left-hand side for Davis, who's over halfway here for Ipswich Town as they look for a second in towards Keeper Moore, edge of the penalty area. But the defensive intervention from Scott Wharton was a good one. He matched Keeper Moore for pace there. Not the quickest, the big front man. That's one aspect of his game that is lacking. Here's Morsey, 35 yards out for Ipswich Town. Out to Davis, far side of it. The Tractor Boys left and forced back inside his own half, but they won't mind that. And they lead by a goal to 0. We've been given the gate, by the way, 18,235. And well, the Blackburn Rovers fans have been voting with their feet. This place holds 31,000. They've been done a massive favour by a 4,000 gate from the away side, and this is a side who are staring at a real threat of relegation, but they are coming forward now with a chance on the right hand side. Hedges might get into a crossing position, cuts it across the face of goal, parry by Hladky. Cresceni tries to juggle it, get a volley away, and he's closed down by Connor Chaplin. Brilliant at both ends, but the chance isn't over. Corner of the penalty area, Blackburn coming forward looking for an equaliser. Dolan forward, he's missed. Smolix will go himself up against Twanzebe. Dolan with the quick feet up towards the byline, cuts it back. Over the bar it goes. Sam Smolix with the chance. That's what he does best. He cuts it towards goal. It's taking a slight deflection, and it's out for a corner. Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1.
Well, where's that been? Because it's absolutely fantastic from Blackburn Rovers on the eye. Work it really well out to that right hand side. Hedges does ever so well to get that ball into the box. The keeper just parries it out. Cresceni it doesn't quite come down quick enough so he can get his shot away. He has to have a touch. But my goodness, that's certainly the best move from Blackburn Rovers.
And they're attacking again with a short corner. They're trailed by a goal to 0. Here comes the cross from the corner of the area towards the back post, and two defenders went for it. Wolfenden and Edmondson got in each other's way. In the end, I think it's cannoned off both of them and gone out for a corner to Blackburn Rovers. Near side there left, by far the best spell for the hosts in the game.
Well, I've got to say, Cameron, I mean, two centre-halves and Edmondson and Wolfenden there. Where's the communication? If you're a centre-half and you think there's danger behind you, you clear your lines. You don't let it go over the top of your head. Big opportunity for Blackburn yet again. This is good pressure.
So Rankin Costello is going to take the corner kick. Blackburn looking for a route back into this game, stuck down the run end of the Championship table. It's cut all the way back to the almost to the centre circle with Britton, who's tried to lump a ball forward. It went up to the byline where Wharton knocked it back in, but the ball had already gone dead when he headed it back across the face of goal, looking for a corner. It's going to be a goal kick, and it is. Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1.
You just wonder why Blackburn are not actually putting the ball into the box from corners directly. They're trying to work it across the edge of the 18-yard box. They've done it on 2 or 3 occasions, and it's not worked for them. You know, if you're going to put the ball into the box, put it in with some quality. I know the aerial threat of Ipswich is bigger than Blackburn Rovers, but if the quality's on the corner and you've got players who up there desire to put their head on the line and put that ball into the back of the net, they will do. And this is what I keep talking. The final third, the quality has got to be better.
Going to be 2 changes, by the way, for Blackburn Rovers. Joe Rankin-Costello, who's just come back into the side, has been brought off after 16 minutes of this second half. So Yasin Ayari will go into midfield, the Brighton loanee, just 20 years old, joined in January. And then Ben Crescene, the young Villa loanee on the wing, he's been hooked as well. Andy Moran, who's also a Brighton man on loan, is going to come in. And Blackburn are coming forward again here. Trunster trying to pick a pass up towards Hedges on the edge of the penalty area. Tried a no-look flick down the line into the path of Smodics. Didn't come off. But there's so much more intent about Blackburn in this second half.
Well, the thing is, look, you're at the top of the table in Ipswich's thought process. They're thinking to themselves, right, let's just get this job done. Let's pick up 3 points and walk away from the stadium.
They're trying to force a corner here as well. It's gone all the way down to the byline, and Ipswich, well, they look a little bit shaky. And it was Luke Wolfenden who was forced back all the way to his goal line, and he kept it just parallel to the goal line back to his goalkeeper. And like he managed to hook it away. The home fans are furious though, because there's another stoppage, and it's only because Ipswich want to make a change. It is going to be a triple one though. 3 men set to come on.
Well, it's Edmondson, the player, who the referee's gone across to, Stuart Atwell. There was a little bit of contact, but he was actually off the pitch, Cameron. He's walked back onto the pitch, and that's why the Blackburn Rovers supporters are going absolutely crazy. Yes, they want to make these substitutions and they want to get them onto the pitch as quick as they possibly can, Ipswich. But if your player is off the field, continue until the game is finished.
It's simple stuff really, isn't it? Anyway, triple change for Ipswich Town. Kiefer Moore's coming off to be replaced by Caden Jackson. 3 goals this season. Another centre forward. Kiefer Moore, who played 120 minutes for Wales in their Euro qualifying loss to Poland on Tuesday. Also coming on, Jeremy Sarmiento. He's going to come on for Nathan Broadhead. And finally, Ali Al-Hamidi is going to make his way on for Connor Chaplin, which is a bit of a surprise for me, Mickey, but I guess he too has come back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's ran himself into the ground, Connor Chaplin. He's been a real threat in this game, but maybe it's just got to that moment, 64 minutes into the game. He's just given absolutely everything, and he might be the match winner at the end of this game. Who knows? There's still a long way to go, but he's done everything right. He was in the right place at the right time to put that ball into the back of the net. He won't care how it's gone into the back of the net. It's his 13th goal of the season, and he's been fantastic this evening.
Well, we see double changes quite a lot, Mickey. We don't often see triple changes. So is that a response there from Kieran McKenna, by the way, that his side have maybe lost their grip on this game in the last 10 minutes?
No, absolutely, yeah. They're on the back foot. They're panicking a little bit, whereas they looked really well and composed for certainly the first 50 minutes of the game. But Blackburn are starting to put a little bit of pressure on them at the back. And let's say this goal deficit, that's when you start thinking as a player, is it enough?
Well, 3 of that front 4 have now changed for Ipswich Town. I'm sure that Mickey, with his seasoned eye for tactics, will keep an eye on whether that means that Amari Hutchinson will come back to his more native central berth, or whether he does stay out on the wide right. He's been doing well for Ipswich so far. They lead by a goal to 0 with 26 remaining on Talksport 2. And they're on the defensive again, though, as Callum Britton attacks down the right-hand side for Blackburn. Up against Edmondson, forced away from goal. He's still going. He's now run 30 yards to the corner flag and then 30 yards back before he's tripped, wins a free kick, and there is a cheer from the home fans. And well, there might not be too many of them inside Ewood Park in a struggling season, but they have seen their side grow into this game in the second period. All that's missing is a goal to level it up.
Yeah, it certainly is. And when we were talking about Ipswich or Blackburn, for instance, in the first half not being able to get out of their own half, it's now Ipswich who are starting to panic a little bit, and Blackburn are starting to pile on the pressure. They've got the ball into some really good areas. They've got a chance. Now it looks like they're going to take a short free kick from this right-hand side, but put the ball in the box.
Well, the free kick is 40 yards from the corner flag for Blackburn Rovers. Forward on the right-hand side of the field, far side from me and Mickey Great. Taken quickly, as Mickey said. Down the line it goes towards the corner flag. Cross comes in towards the front post. It's away by Sarmiento, out towards the edge of the penalty area where the shot from Hedges was blocked, and blocked behind for a corner. And there's more pressure from Blackburn Rovers, and maybe Mickey Gray, this is what happens when, if you're in Ipswich's shoes, you're going to the top of the league with a win, and suddenly you are the hunted.
Well, I don't think Kieran McKenna's got to be happy with his second half performance. I didn't see it coming, I have to admit, but they look a little bit nervy now, Ipswich, as if they're thinking about where they're going to finish the end of the day at top of the table if Leeds United don't get the result that they're wanting against Watford, so they've got to try and find it from somewhere.
That game on Talksport 2 after us. Here it comes, the corner headed downwards by Wharton into the body of the goalkeeper. Scott Wharton got it really hard there, he did, but his header down into the turf and it landed in the breadbasket of Václav Hladký, and he held it well there, the Czech goalkeeper. And while his side had been under siege, Mickey Gray, in this second half, he's still not really had a lot to do in goal.
No, he hasn't really, has he? I mean, a flat save, I suppose, from across, and that one there, you know, there's saves that he should be making if the ball does actually go through to Hladký. And this is why I keep talking about Blackburn. They've made a little bit of a change, I think. You can see Smorix is playing higher up the pitch. Tyrese Dolan's now working this left-hand side, and Hedges over on that right-hand side, so it's given them a bit more impetus going forward.
Ipswich leading by a goal to nil. They have it with 23 minutes of normal time remaining on Talksport 2 inside their own half with Morsey. He's put under pressure by Ayari, goes back to his goalkeeper. Hladký clears and out to the left-hand touchline for Leif Davis, keeps it alive just inside his own half, feeds it into the feet of Sarmiento. Brighton Loney battling and twisting between the lines, but he's lost out. Ayari forward, and Britain on the right-hand side, maybe with a cross now up towards the corner flag, goes down under the challenge of Sarmiento. Referee and his assistant had a good look at it, and goal kick is the call.
Well, every challenge is not a foul, is it? This contact there, and I think, you know, because they've got a bit of momentum now, Blackburn, they're looking for those fouls around the edge of the 18-yard box. But Ipswich, I just wonder whether Kieran McKenna, he's not actually in his technical area at the moment, whether he needs to just pass on a little bit of information to his players. No, Al Hamadi and Jackson have just came onto the field with Sarmiento. Got to get them involved in the game if they possibly want, because they're the ones who've got the energy in their legs at the moment.
Hladký with a long ball downfield, who was looking for Al Hamadi, who went down then under the challenge of Dominic Hyam on halfway, but the referee thought he was looking for it, judging by his body language and pulling him back up to his feet. And Blackburn start from the back, and much improved Blackburn in this second half. They've been behind since the 9th minute. Connor Chaplin's goal since replaced, and it's Rovers who come forward. Now they're going to have a free kick as well. Callum Britton appended just inside the Ipswich half, and they've taken a free kick quickly. It's played through the middle by Ayari, and he was looking for the run of Tyrese Dolan, couldn't find it, and it rolls through to Hladký in the end. It remains Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 1. Ipswich set to go top of the championship, at least until Leeds United travel to Watford this evening. 8 o'clock kick-off. And it is so tight up at the top now in the championship. It really is the most competitive league in the world. Ipswich top after what will be 39 games, 84 points. Leeds have a game in hand. They're 2 points back, as are Leicester, but with an inferior goal difference. And another thing that might count against Ipswich is the fact that their goal difference is 8 worse than Leicester's and 10 by Leeds. But they're really struggling now under the pressure exerted by the home side. Wolfenden with a routine pass to play up towards Twanzebe at right back, plays it straight out of play, noticing the press, and it's completely changed Ipswich, and maybe that's why, Mickey Gray, we're going to see another substitution.
Yeah, and it's Leif Davis who's coming off, and Clark coming in. Whether Clark goes in at left back or whether they change the system a little bit, maybe go 5 at the back just to try and see this out. I'm sure it's something that Kieran McKenna's maybe thinking about, because at the moment, you know, they're trying to still play at the back, Ipswich, and it's not working for them. They look a little bit nervy. That pass there just to Wolfenden, you know, he hasn't got any time or space to put his foot on the ball. He's trying to clear his lines. He gets it completely wrong. But this is what happens. Your nerves start jangling when you think about where you're going to be at the end of this game. Top of the table, 1 goal deficit. It's hard to hang on to.
Well, over 4,000 have travelled to support Ipswich today. That's a lot of people who don't want to spend the Easter break with their in-laws, but they've been silenced in this second half because their side are firmly under the pump, and they've conceded another throw by the corner flag in a defensive position. Blackburn coming forward, looking to get back into this game. They've got their own aspirations of coming clear of the drop to worry about, but then it's such an avoidable offside. It's been given, I think, against Trunster, who went to receive the ball from the throw-in and then took the returning pass. He was way beyond the last defender, and an easy one for the assistant referee, but utterly avoidable for Blackburn Rovers, who we've seen much more of in attacking positions in this second period, still trailing by Connor Chaplin's goal to nil. And it's got a bit quiet here, so we're going to go to Vicarage Road. Team news for Watford versus Leeds. Jim Proudfoot
Cam, very good evening to you. 3 changes for each. Watford have Lewis back in the side after a foot problem. Siralta and Bayer recalled as well. Morris, Kone and Shakvatadze dropped down to the bench. The Georgian after his European qualifier against Greece the other day. For Leeds, Byram in for Junior Firpo after his lengthy flight back from international duty. Cooper in for Gruev. Ampadu moves into midfield to accommodate that. And James hopes for a better end to his week as he replaces the hamstrung Willie Gnonto. We kick off at 8.
Yeah, don't miss that. Straight after us on Talksport 2. Watford versus promotion-chasing Leeds United, who can go back to the top of the Championship table with a win. But Ipswich are doing the job here, not in the style they were in the first half. 18 and a half minutes of normal time remaining. We've got the former Blackburn and Sunderland fullback alongside me, Mickey Gray. And Mickey, it's a completely different complexion on this game now, even if the scoreline hasn't changed.
No, absolutely, yeah. And you just wonder whether Blackburn had a bit of better quality in that final third, if they'd actually got themselves maybe even on level terms and maybe even more than that. But it's that final third, and that's where you win football matches. The quality needs to be better because you can see they're a little bit wounded, Ipswich. Again, just giving the ball away in front of us. Now, we did not see any of this in the first 45 minutes. They've made changes to freshen things up, but they can't hang on to the ball at the moment.
Well, that time it was Harry Clark, who's one of the freshest sets of legs on the field, played it to Sarmiento, completely missed and put it out of play. And now Blackburn are attacking, looking for an equaliser. Britain far side there right, attacking into the penalty area up against Clark, who gets a deflection on the cross, enough to turn it towards Morsey, who got it clear momentarily. But Blackburn will come good again. Still trailing by a goal to 0. Britain going out on the right-hand side, gets across in, slams into the body of a defender. And the assistant referee and referee look at each other because it wasn't clear which side of the flag it had gone. It is only going to be a throw-in. But Blackburn are in their moment now.
I think Callum Britton has a problem as well, Cameron. He's just having a look and waving across to the technical area. I don't know if he's got a hamstring problem or what, but I'm sure it's going to be a change. He is actually taking this long throw in. You can see there's only, 4 or 5 Blackburn Rovers, 4 players now in the 18-yard box, so they're going to have to work something.
He's got Tronster coming short to him finally. Back to Britain it goes, crosses towards the back post. Wharton's there trying to threaten the goalkeeper who comes, spills it, only half cleared, and fired goals by Ayari, and it's gone in off the bottom of the bar, but the referee has stopped play, and I think he's going to give a defensive free kick here. Yassin Ayari, that would have been his first goal in the Championship. He lashed at it with his right boot, into the crossbar, down onto the line. No question it went in though. However, in the preamble, Hladky came up high for it, was battling, I think, Wharton for it. And the referee will say that Hladky was fouled there. Did he have full control of it? Not sure. And then slammed goalwards on the follow-up. In fact, it's Andy Moran who had the shot. It's 24, not 44. They've got that horrible kind of kit, Blackburn Rovers, where the white half is okay. The blue half has got a red number on it, and it is indeed Andy Moran, the other Brighton lone man, who fashioned a shot off the crossbar and over the line. But the referee, for the second time in this game, has given a decision that really favours Ipswich goalkeeper.
Well, how do you feel? You've had the ball in the back of the net on 2 occasions and both been ruled out. I do think this one would have been harsh if it was given. I have to say that, Cameron. It was Scott Wharton who made the challenge on Hladky in that Ipswich Town goal. Yes, he didn't have full control of it. I think the ball was in 2 hands, and Wharton came over the top of him. You know, sometimes you get away with him if you're really fortunate, but I do think it was a foul. But what a strike from Andrew Moran with his right foot. Just come onto the pitch on the volley. Super strike. I think it was Edmondson who he basically grabbed hold of the crossbar, didn't he, to try and keep the ball out of the back of the net. But excellent strike, but I think the right decision.
Well, Andy Moran, only 20 years old. He was on the bench for the Irish senior team after under-21 duty in the international break. He's been a busy man, but, well, he rattled the crossbar there, and he will have rattled Ipswich Town, who have not been the better side in this second half. 75 minutes gone. And while Ipswich do lead, their stranglehold that they enjoyed on the game in the first half, well, that's evaporated as they look to take top spot in the Championship table ahead of Watford versus Leeds later on Talksport 2. Luongo was battling for it just inside his own half, but, well, Harry Clark has been penalised for a foul on Ryan Hedges, and it'll be a free kick to Blackburn Rovers just inside the Ipswich half. And Kieran McKenna, we now can see him in his technical area, black hoodie, grey trousers and pumps, and he's pacing from left to right, arms folded, seeing a very different second half unfold in front of him. And he said that every game is a challenge coming into this one. They've got a big challenge on Talksport at 5:30 on Easter Monday against Southampton. Surely a win for Ipswich counts Southampton in the race for the top two. Well, it wasn't a free kick, it was a drop ball that the referee stopped play for, and that's incurred the anger of the home fans, not for the first time in this one. Hutchinson forward for Ipswich, leading by 1-0, up towards Caden Jackson in the penalty area, cuts it back, and the shot goes over the bar from Al-Hamadi, and he arcs it at least 20 rows back in the end. But Ipswich breaking with pace, and that's something, Mickey Gray, we've not seen them do in this second half.
Yeah, they need to do that more. I mean, they look great, don't they, when they actually do it and they go through the gears and start playing through the lines. Excellent play from Ipswich. First time pass, and worked it really well out to this right-hand side with Jackson. Puts that first time ball in. Al-Hamadi, look, he's trying to get his body over it. He's trying to keep it low, which is very difficult. He's got somebody putting pressure on him, but it's a chance. They haven't had many in the second half.
And here comes Dolan for Blackburn Rovers, still trailing in this game. Over halfway inside the Ipswich half, threads it forward. The cross comes in towards Trudster, and Smolix was there, but he couldn't shoot. And it's hammered away in the end by Caden Jackson. Just as the bodies in blue and white were starting to queue up in the penalty area. Near side the left, Blackburn will attack with renewed vigour. Tyrese Dolan cuts inside Twanzebe, who had an arm across the back of his shoulder, and it will be a free kick on the corner of the area for Blackburn Rovers as they press on in search of this equaliser. They trail by 1-0.
Well, Twanzebe can have no qualms. There was a foul. Tyrese Dolan's done really well. I talked about his quick feet. He gets away from his marker. But just prior to that, what a chance. And it fell to the right man in Smorix. Just couldn't sort his feet out. Great play from Moran again down the right hand side to get to the byline. When it come back to Smorix, you're waiting for that chance just to fire towards goal, but unfortunately again couldn't work his feet. It's been one of those days for Smorix.
Listening to Talksport 2, those are the words of former Blackburn fullback Mickey Gray. This former side trailing by 1-0, but they have a corner that's whipped in towards the back post nicely by Trunster. Only half cleared, and Smolix will pile in. He'll try a second effort, slams into the 18-yard box. Big shouts for handball, fall on deaf ears. Sam Morsey was the man to block it. I thought his arms were by his side. It's only going to be a throw-in, and Ipswich continue with a tender lead.
Yeah, well, again, it's pressure from Blackburn. They're not letting up now, are they? They're searching for this equalising goal. And Ipswich, again, on occasion they're getting out of their own half, but other than that, they've been scrappy. They look nervy. Twanzebe jumping in on silly fouls when he just has to stay on his feet. And the opportunities are now starting to come for Smorix, albeit, look, he's 25 yards out and he's strike. But if it's going to fall to anybody in a blue and white shirt, you want it to fall to him.
Oh, the goalkeeper's lost it! Oh, Smolix has missed from 3 yards out. Oh, what an opportunity. Well, it was foreseen by Mickey Gray, and Gladkey holding on to it for far too long. He got caught in possession. Smolix tried to turn and shoot it home, but Gladkey just recovered himself, got maybe an arm, maybe a wrist onto the end of it, diverts it out for a corner. Massive let off for Ipswich Town. We're seeing a rerun of it now. It falls, to be fair to Smolix, behind him, and after he turned, it's a brilliant recovery side by Gladkey to turn it around the post.
My goodness. I mean, talk about living on the edge. Gladkey there, he's just got to clear his lines. You've got to know that Smorix is going to close you down.
Here comes the corner, whipped in, heads go up from both sides, it drops in the penalty area, and the shot is way over the bar from Andy Moran. It's the same range that he'd rattled the crossbar from 5 minutes earlier. This time he got right underneath the middle plane of the ball, and he sends it firing over into the home fans behind the goal. But they've been roused now in this second half, and with 11 minutes of normal time remaining on Talksport 2, they will think a goal is coming.
Oh, I mean, what a chance. And it's fell again to the perfect man in Smorix. And you're right, Cameron, it's kind of like a 360 turn he has to make just to get his shot away, and Haladki actually pulls it out of the sky. It's a great save because he's on the ground. But the pressure from Blackburn now, it looks to me like Ipswich is sat back and they're waiting for Blackburn to get an equalising goal.
And the home fans are wanting that goal now. Noise levels we've not heard in a long time, other than for jeering at the match officials, but they're sensing something as we enter the final 10 minutes on Talksport 2. Long ball is sent down the park. Moran is going to chase this up towards the byline. Locked in a battle with Edmondson. Referee's got a decision to make, and well, it doesn't look like he's made one. Is he going for a throw-in? No, he's given a corner, and a yellow card has come out for Massimo Luongo for a foul earlier in back play. And Ipswich aren't happy about that, but they were hoping the ball was going to go their way and they were going to have the goal kick, but it's another corner they've got to withstand, and the pressure just increases on what are currently the Championship's top side. Blackburn 0, Ipswich 1.
Yeah, I don't think it was a corner, Cameron, I have to say. And if Blackburn do get an equalising goal from this, Kieran McKenna will be absolutely seething. Again, good play from Andrew Moran down that right-hand side. He gets to the byline really well, puts that ball into the box, but as it's cleared, you can just see the shielding the ball out, and I think that was an Ipswich goal kick.
Here comes the corner. Blackburn still trailing, whipped in towards the back post, but it falls to Smodics. Corner of the area, tries to send it back in. Heather away is from Wolfenden, drops in the 18-yard box, and Morsey puts his boot through ball. And now there's a chase on to get to this, because over halfway comes Hutchinson. He's got 3 Blackburn shirts around him, and he's just to have fouled one of them. Smodics was back helping with the defensive effort. He won the free kick. He was pulled down by the Chelsea loanee, but the referee has stopped Blackburn playing a quick free kick. I assume because he wanted to yellow card Hutchinson, but he's got away scot-free. It's actually going to be a change to the home side, and it's one that you talked about earlier, Mickey. Semir Talalovic, the German striker, is going to come on for Ryan Hedges.
Yeah, well, I think it's a really positive move, I have to say, and you can see straight away it's gone right through the middle. I'm so surprised he's not started the game. I don't know how fit he is, but they needed that man up there who can hold the ball up better than anybody else who's fit in the Blackburn Rovers squad. Can he make an impact in the final minutes of this game?
Well, there is not long left now. Oh, and Blanky's come to claim an aerial ball there, and it was right on the corner of his penalty area. I thought he was all right there. I thought he was on the line. Home fans didn't think so. But Ipswich have looked shaky in this second half. They lead by a goal to nil. You're listening to the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. We have 8, in fact, fewer, 7.5 minutes of normal time to go at Ewood Park. And, well, they've led since the 9th minute of the game of Ipswich Town, but they have not looked like promotion contenders. Far from it in this second period. They've got to go again in 3 days' time against Southampton. That'll be a sterner test on recent showings. Forward come the orange shirts of Ipswich for a rare foray into the Blackburn half, but Twanzebe's pass to Alhamdi was under kit, and Dolan can roll away with it up towards halfway he is now, and Ipswich are slow to get back. Dolan with the crossfield ball, looking for Smodics, who's gone out wide, up against Twanzebe on the edge of the area. Sam Smodics down towards the byline, tries to cut back inside. It's a good challenge that comes in the end, and diverted out for a corner by Caden Jackson, who's helped out with a defensive effort. And I think because he's kicked the ball away, he's earned himself a yellow card.
Yeah, it's silly from Jackson there. He's done really well to help out his full-back Twanzebe. Sam Smodics looked like he was getting away from him. He's got his body in front of ball and man. That's what you have to do as a midfield player. It's great in the offensive third, but you've got to do your defensive duties also.
Corner to Blackburn, who trail by a goal to nil. Sondra Trunster to take it, left footer, outswinger, it arcs towards the back post. Wolfen got ahead on it, 18-yard box it drops, knocked down and comfortably so. Wharton flicking it in towards the back post, and there were 3 blue and white shirts there, but Gladkey got in ahead of them all and dived low at the feet of Andy Moran. And Gladkey looked much more confident on the ball this time. It remains Blackburn nil, Ipswich 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we've been waiting for from Gladkey. We know he's very good coming off his line. You can see 3 Blackburn players from that ball into the box from Sam Smodics. They're all hunting him down, but he's sharp, he's bright, he gets off his line, takes the pressure off his back line, and just got to compose themselves, Ipswich. See this out. It's always difficult. Look, 8 cup finals they've got, this being one of them. Doesn't matter if you win 5 or 6-0. If you can get over the line, win games 1-0, you keep racking up those 3 points. Everybody else around you has to do their jobs.
7 games to play for both of these sides after it, and some tough ones for Ipswich too. They've got Southampton at home coming up on Monday, and then Norwich away is the next one. That's on Talksport 2, an exclusive at 12:30 on Saturday the 6th. Some big battles they've got. And they finish at home to Huddersfield, and that might be a battle for a different kind, because and the Terriers are locked in a battle at the bottom 3, and that's a battle that Blackburn might be lucky to avoid if they can't take anything from this game. And the value, you would say, Mickey Gray, for at least something on this second half, Sean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, you can criticise them as much as we did in the first half, and rightly so, because they weren't at the races, but you want a reaction from your players, and John Eustace, whatever he said at half-time, it's worked. These players have actually reacted. They've showed great intent, showed great energy as well, and really should be back on level terms. And I keep going back to it, or harping on about it, the quality in the final third. Well, they've had big chances. Sammy Smodics, 2 or 3 big chances in his second half. On another day, puts it in.
Long ball played forward towards Talalovic. The big German knocks it down, and Dolan's in the 18-yard box. It's back to Talalovic in the penalty area. All orange shirts around him, and Wolfenden nicks it off him. He was offside anyway. And Ipswich did have defensive numbers back to cope with the threat of Talalovic. He's not scored for Blackburn in the 18 games he's played since joining from Mönchengladbach, but that's what Mickey was talking about earlier. So good at hold-up play. It just bounces off his big burly frame, but he's offside this time, and it's a let-off for Ipswich Town.
Well, it's exactly what they've missed. In the first 45 minutes, Talalovic, who should have been on the pitch to hold that ball up, and then you've got the lively players of Dolan, Hedges, Smorix around him, with a quick feet, and that just causes any backline a problem. And you can see how much better they've been in the second half. I know Talalovic has just came onto the pitch, but you can see, hold the ball up, bring your livelier players into it. I've got to say, while I'm talking here, Tyrese Dolan's been outstanding today, Cameron, hasn't he? His energy's been fantastic.
He's been everywhere across that attacking third. On the left, on the right, through the middle, and he's covered a lot of the grass here at Ewood Park, but nothing to show for it so far. He had a lovely little chipped cross that he tried to play into the middle for Kiefer Moore, I think it was, wasn't it? Well, not for Kiefer Moore, I should say, for Sam Smorix at 0-0 after 25 minutes, and it was clawed away well by Cladkeep. But it's just been that kind of game for the Blackburn Rovers, and they've had all the pressure in this second half. And for all the goodwill in the world, there's been no goal coming. They thought they had it. Twice they've had goals disallowed, even in this game as well. You look back to the first half, and Joe Rankin-Costello with his shot deflected into the top corner, but Sam Smorix deemed to be in the goalkeeper's eye line in an offside position. Some might say it was harsh. And then in the second half, well, a shot lashed in off the bar by Andy Moran, but a foul on the goalkeeper in the build-up. But it's Blackburn coming again, trying to cross towards Talalovic, but the ball wasn't a good enough one, and Wolfenden can clear. It's up in the air by Luongo when it needed to be away. It's going to come down with interest, and Harry Clark sees it bounce off his shin. On all those balls that Ipswich are controlling in the first half, they're going away from them now, Mickey.
Yeah, no, they're just panicking, aren't they? Harry Clark, I just wonder why they made that substitution of bringing Harry Clark on for Leif Davis, who I thought was fantastic in the game, because Clark at the moment, since he's came on, he's really struggled, and I think it was Andrew Moran on the right-hand side.
Here's Jeremy Sarmiento arcing through the middle, though, and he's opened up a bit of play here. Ipswich Town into the penalty area. Jackson tried a pop shot across the face of goal, and he could see that defenders were bearing down on him. And it was Wharton who came across in the end, and both players have hurt themselves there. Gaydon Jackson and Scott Wharton too, but he tried the shot across the face of goal, couldn't quite get the angle right, but it was all from the good play, Mickey, of Jeremy Sarmiento. Picked it up on halfway, ran past two in blue and white, splayed it out wide, and it was a move that could have ended this game.
Well, it's simple football, isn't it? You get yourself on a half turn, you get your head up, you look at runners in front of you. This time it's Jackson down the right hand side. It was his first touch, wasn't it? It got away from her a little bit too much, and then Scott Wharton came across, showed great pace, great determination just to make contact with it. And again, as a centre-half, you think he's played against Kiefer Moore this afternoon. He's also playing against Jackson and Al-Hamadi at the moment. I think, again, he's had a very good game.
Ayari in the centre circle for Blackburn. There's still a goal down. 90 seconds of normal time remaining. He's played an aerial ball forward looking for Smorix, who was offside. It was the wrong ball to play. And frustration for Blackburn Rovers fans, who turn their eye up towards the assistant referee on the far side. And Ipswich Town are taking all the time in the world to get the ball rolling again into the final minutes of normal time. We're about to go, and Ipswich are set to go back, well, to where they'll think their performances merit them being. They've won 7 of the last 8, they're winning this one, and they're going top of the championship.
Yeah, well, look, we're at that point in the season, aren't we, Cameron, where it's not about performances, it's about results. And Ipswich have been really poor in this second half, not being able to get out of their own half, which has been a real struggle for them. Look nervy and giving the ball away. Give the impotence certainly back to Blackburn Rovers. And look, they're probably going to get booed, the home side, at the end of this game. But I think on that second half performance, they merit something from this.
Something just got thrown onto the pitch there, Mickey, when you were speaking. It was down below us. By the two technical areas, it was picked up by 2 Blackburn players and tossed to the side. I don't know if it's anything malicious or whether it's just something banal, like a spare shin pad or something, but it's been thrown from the field of play at a critical moment as well, because 20 seconds to go. Rovers still trailing at Ewood Park, but they've got a throw in, far side there right, 20 yards from the corner flag, and we're about to learn the extent of added time. Don't go anywhere on Talksport 2. Watford versus Leeds in the battle for supremacy in the Championship straight after this at 8 o'clock. 5 minutes though, the added time, and that has got the home fans going. They've been pushing all of this second half. Cross coming in from the right-hand side, deep towards the back post. Wharton's gone up, but beaten by Wolfenden in the air. Still heads from both sides, trying to claim it. Out of the area it goes. Ayari goes up for it, and now Hutchinson can steal it. Trying to go over halfway for Ipswich. He's the furthest orange shirt forward. He's going to have to do it all himself. Can he hold it up? Maybe. Trying to hold off the advances of Sam Smodic. He's done really well, and he's managed to win his side of throwing halfway inside the Blackburn half. He was all on his own there, Hutchinson, and that man, well, if that's anything to go by, he's got some future ahead of him, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Cameron. Now I can count 2 times that Sam Smodic was in a foot race with Hutchinson bearing down on this Blackburn Rovers goal, and Smodic has got himself back. Full credit to him, because everybody talks about the goals, and rightly so, because it's been a brilliant season from him, but that work ethic to help out his teammates, to get back and work hard to win the ball back for your team, superb.
Here is Ayari for Blackburn, halfway inside his own half. Ipswich still leading at Ewood Park by a 1-0, and then Harry Clark has just pinched on a loose pass on halfway, goes down, referee gives the free kick, and Ipswich now are taking every opportunity just to stall the play. And they are headed for top spot in the Championship, but, well, it's not been a spellbinding performance from them in this second period. If they do get the job done, it'll be thanks to Connor Chaplin's goal in the 9th minute. Leif Davis setting up with a lovely ground cross. Since then, though, or since half-time more accurately, they've had so little going forward, and they've got a chance now to eat up some more valuable seconds. Scott Wharton, Mickey, has been given the player of the match by the home sponsor. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, I just touched on him before. I think, no, let's not forget he's played against Kiefer Moore. He's pretty much marked him out of the game. He's got El Hamadi, and he's also got Jackson alongside him now, and I think whenever he's been called upon, he's come up trumps. He's done his job right, and he's actually been a threat in the opposition's half as well. He was the one who made the foul on Hladky, wasn't he, before Blackburn put the ball in the back of the net, but I think it's been a really outstanding performance. Himself and Tyrese Dolan certainly been the standout players.
We tick on in added time. 5 minutes were awarded. We've had 2.5 of those. Ipswich up trying to get the ball into an attacking position and get across him, but they're going to settle to keep the ball in the corner, which they failed to do, and it will be a Blackburn throw-in adjacent to the corner flag. They go across their own goal. Here's Wharton just inside his own penalty area. Hutchinson closing off his angles. Forward it comes to Pickering, but it wasn't a great ball, and Caden Jackson wins it back for Ipswich, then runs 40 yards back towards his own goal, goes down in the challenge with Dolan, who is incensed that the man in orange has gone down to ground there, and the ball is cleared by Václav Hladky upfield again, but Blackburn will come back with it. Trunster, centre circle, Rovers half of the field, his side trailing by a 0-2. 2 minutes to go of added time on Talksport 2. Blackburn down the wrong end of the Championship, looking to set things right. Moran far out to the penalty area, crosses in. Wolfenden heads it up in the air. It drops at the back post, fizzed across the face of goal, and the deflection takes it behind for a corner. Jackson with the intervention. It could have gone anywhere, and it's another corner to Blackburn Rovers, and we've got a man down from each side now, Mickey.
Yeah, well, Hutchinson's down, and it's also Pickering from this left-hand side. As that ball comes into the box, it's kind of floated because it's a clearance. He does very well because his first touch is fantastic, Pickering. He does get his shots away. It looks like it's going wide, hoping for a deflection into that Ipswich goal, but could he have taken it first time? It would have been a worldie, don't get me wrong, but I think that chance was there just to get your laces through it. What a big chance late on in this game.
Ipswich want to make a change. They've got the centre-back Cam Burgess ready to come on, but their side are defending a corner. 1 minute of added time to go. Oh, and Hutchinson's gone down again in the 18-yard box now, and the Blackburn fans are getting really irate here.
That's not gamesmanship, Cameron. I can see in the technical area all the coaches and Kieran McKenna were pointing across to Hutchinson to say go down to ground, because they wanted to make this change.
And there's going to be a change of pace now as well. Has he given him a yellow card there?
Not sure.
No, I think he's got up and he's just going to limp his way off, but it's really harsh, the booing, I think, is what we can say, because there was a man down from either side, and even if he hadn't been down, Hutchinson, the game wouldn't have been restarting anyway. We've got Hayden Carter prepped and ready to come on for Blackburn Rovers for the remaining moments of this game, and well, it's we're on borrowed time now because the 95 minutes are as good as up. Hutchinson's making his way to the side of the field, so an attacker's coming off, and Burgess, the defender, who's been away on Australia duty, is coming on, and it's Hayden Clark who makes his way on for Harry Pickering for Blackburn Rovers, as we pass on into the 96th minute now, and still we're waiting for this corner to be taken. Blackburn maybe with one chance to get something from this game, a point that you'd have to say they deserve on the balance of play. Far side there, right, here it comes, outswinger, man goes down in the penalty area, the header is splits on towards the back post, picked up by Ayari, he'll cross in, everybody forward for Blackburn bar the goalkeeper, out towards the edge of the penalty area it comes, picked up by Britton, plenty of men loading the penalty area, here comes the cross, it's not good enough though, it hits Luongo, and Ipswich can hack this ball clear. And we're at the mercy of the referee now. Long ball comes forward. At least one of those Blackburn players in the mixer was offside. Back to Britton in the centre circle. He's going to go back to his goalkeeper. And it all depends on Stuart Atwell now, who's not been the best friend of the home fans so far. How long Blackburn Rovers have, but they're playing it round at the back. Andy Moran is exchanging passes with his goalkeeper when the ball needs to be down the other end. And forward it does come. Water went up for the header, but he lost out towards Jackson. Up towards halfway it goes for Ipswich, and now pinched by Al-Hamidi, who's trying to twist clear. And the challenge came in the end from Carter, but he can't prevent it ricocheting out for what would be a corner. But the final whistle has gone after 51 minutes of an intense second half at Ewood Park. It's a result that will have ramifications at both ends of the Championship table on Talksport 2. Ipswich, with that 9th minute goal on Connor Chaplin's return, will go top of the division, 2 points ahead of Leeds, with them yet to play on Good Friday. They will kick off in around about 34 minutes time on Talksport 2 away at Watford, where they can retake the summit. Ipswich have limped over the line, Mickey Gray, against a spirited Blackburn performance in that second half, who are trying to claw themselves away from the mire at the bottom of the table. They will finish this game as they started, 3 points clear of the drop zone, 3 places above it, but it is Ipswich's day. Somehow they've come away with 3 points and it's finished at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Ipswich cling on then. Thank you, Cameron Pope. What a huge result that is for the Tractor Boys. It takes them top of the Championship table for the time being. They've taken advantage of Leicester's loss earlier today, which was live on Talksport 2, and they put the impetus on Leeds to win. And Mickey Gray, in the end, they will be delighted that they managed to get the job done.
Oh, absolutely thrilled to pieces, Ollie, because it was a really poor second half showing from Ipswich Town, who looked so in control in the first half. But this is what happens when you get to those 7 or 8 games for the remainder of the season. You start to panic, you start doing things that your body, you're looking at yourself and thinking, why have I just done that? You're making those mistakes, they're nervous. All they've got to do now is just keep ticking these games off, because that was a tough one for them today. They didn't deserve to win the game, I have to say. Blackburn certainly deserved something in that second half, but it doesn't matter now. It's 3 points on the board, they're top of the table. Kieran McKenna will be thrilled to pieces. Now they move on to Southampton and Norwich.
There's a couple of incidents in that game that I want your thoughts on. Blackburn with 2 disallowed goals in the game. One in the first half that we spoke about, where Sammy Swanix was controversially said to be interfering with play. Then in the second half, Andrew Moran slammed it home, but Scott Wharton seemed to foul the keeper in the build-up, or at least knock the ball out of his hands as they both rose together. Did you feel that that was what had happened? Did you feel that Ladke had enough control of the ball?
I do. In the second instance, Ollie, I have to say, look, we've seen it for many, many years, haven't we, where you make any contact with a goalkeeper, you know exactly what the referee, Stuart Atwell on this occasion, is going to do. He's going to blow his whistle. Ladke didn't really know that Wharton was behind him, and he did actually make contact with the ball, but you could see Ladke had 2 hands on the ball. He wasn't fully in control, I have to say that. But what a finish from Andrew Moran, who'd just been on the field for 2 or 3 minutes. So they've had the ball in the back of the net on 2 occasions this evening, and they've got nothing for it. But moving forward for Blackburn, John Eustace, I think he'd be proud as punch of what he saw from his players in that second half, and it instills that bit of confidence moving forward into these latter games, to hope that they've got enough to stay above that dotted relegation line.
Mickey, you say he'll be pleased with the performance, but it is still no win. 10 games in all competitions now for John Eustace without picking up 3 points as Blackburn manager. My question to you is, even if the performances are good, how much longer can the run without a win go on?
Well, if you look at their fixtures, Ollie, it could go on for a long time. They've got some really difficult matches coming up, Blackburn Rovers, and that's the problem, is when you're not winning football games, the next one that comes around becomes even harder. Sunderland have just come off the back of a win this afternoon against Cardiff. That's next up for them at the Stadium of Light. It's never going to be easy. Then they've got Southampton, Bristol City, who've had a massive win today against Leicester, Leeds United, and then Sheffield Wednesday, who are fighting relegation themselves. So it doesn't let up. They've got to dig deep from somewhere. They've got to get enough points on the board to keep them in the Championship next season.
I can hear the Ipswich fans behind you, Mickey. Kieran McKenna pumping his fists in the air and applauding those away supporters, especially with Leicester losing earlier and Leeds still to play tonight, of course. We'll bring you the action in just a moment. Mickey, how big a statement is that win from Ipswich Town, given the manner in which they've done it?
Well, it's absolutely huge, Ollie, and I touched on it in commentary. It doesn't matter how you perform in these games to the remainder of the season. It's just about getting results, getting over the finishing line. It's not going to be pretty at times, but Kieran McKenna might look back at this game and think, that's where we got promotion. That's where we got automatic promotion, because that second half was probably as poor as they've been throughout the whole of the season. But they come away with 3 points. They've got a long journey home as well. They can enjoy that now. They can look forward to playing against Southampton on Monday. Tick the box with that one if they possibly can, because that's another rival next to them. And then look at Norwich after that. And that's all you can do. I've been there myself. And when the games come around, yes, you look forward to them, but tick the 90 minutes off, hear that final whistle and go, thank you very much.